Welcome to today's broadcast of IHSAA football on Hamilton County TV, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners, celebrating their 25th year in business. FSN is partnering with HCTV to bring you this broadcast today. We would also like to thank some of our other great sponsors: Logan Street Signs and Banners, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Church, Hiddle and Antrim, Smith Jewelers, Indiana Restoration, HamiltonCountyCalendars.com, Westfield Chamber, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and Penske Chevrolet. 2 weeks to go in the season, 2 weeks to prove yourself and improve your confidence, conference standings, and to build momentum heading into the postseason. Westfield has one mission tonight: protect their home turf, a mission of great importance on senior night. For Fishers, they are number one in the conference. They need a win here tonight to try and bring that title of conference champs back to Fishers High School. At 3-4, the Tigers might not seem like much on paper, but with all three of those wins coming in conference, they have proven they are a force to be reckoned with in the HCC. But soon, all the records, all the stats, the midseason successes, they melt away. 2 weeks away from a fresh start, all that matters tonight is putting it all on the line in the name of the team. For Westfield, it's also going to come down to how well they can adapt without star running back Nate Froelich. For Cam Nance, he has a chance to prove that he's more than just a rushing quarterback against a Tigers secondary that struggled to shut down Ron Colley's quick pass offense a week ago. For Matt Wolf, he and his Tigers get an opportunity to erase last week's game with a strong performance on the road. It's senior night here in Westfield. It's Shamrocks Tigers, and it's up next only on Hamilton County TV. Welcome back to Westfield High School. The setting for tonight's cross-conference battle. I'm Joey Cerrone. I'm joined up here in the booth by my good friend Ross DeLong, and what a booth it is. Westfield boasts one of the largest stadiums in Indiana, and tonight it's packed to the brim to see if their boys can get a win here. Easier said than done coming against a red-hot Fishers team led by H.L. Lewis, who is coming off of his first career 100-yard rushing game. Ross, what have been the keys to Fishers' success so far this year?
Well, Joey, one of the major keys has been the balance on offense. They use it to adapt on the fly to defenses and can play to their strengths. This is a Westfield team that likes to load the box. They love to blitz, so watch for Fishers to adapt to that as the game goes on. Their game plan is almost always to split the plays 50-50, passing and rushing. This sort of split offense is made so much stronger by a couple of breakout juniors, Colin Stotts and H.L. Lewis. Both force defenses to keep their eyes on them, whether it be through the air or on the ground, respectively. And of course, the man keeping them together on offense, Matt Wolf, has been playing fantastic lately. Fisher started off the season in a dual quarterback set, but with John Vore suffering a concussion, Wolf will be the outright starter tonight. He can make things happen through the air. He's got around 2 touchdowns coming into this one, but he can also scramble and pick up first downs. He and Cam Nance of Westfield are very similar in that regard, since both of them are the second leading rusher on their team and present a lot of matchup problems with their footwork. So going up against a Westfield defense that has had their fair share of trouble defending the run, look for Coach Wimmer and the Tigers to exploit that with some option plays early.
And we saw that sort of option offense early on in the season from the Tigers. They like to run a read option, one of the only options you'll see in high school football. Matt Wolf has been at the head of that. He does a great job of rushing and keeping things balanced through the air and on the ground, and he's been able to have some success there. And with running back H.L. Lewis able to exploit the outside off the edge with his run prowess, his speed, Matt Wolf, it opens the field up for him to go up the middle, power his way through, pretty much like a fullback. He has some wheels, though. He's ripped off a run of 45 yards. That's his long on the year. So the Westfield team needs to be on their toes when playing defense. Speaking of Westfield, Ross, what should we expect out of the Shamrocks in their senior night game?
Joey, senior night is such a special night for every high school. It's your chance to thank the seniors for the great work that they've put in for the past 4 years, and it tends to elevate a team's performance. For the seniors, it's their chance to put on one last regular season show for the home crowd, and of course, they want their last game in friendly territory to be a win. For the underclassmen, they play harder to show the seniors how much they mean to the team and to try and take pressure off of them. That being said, a lot of that pressure tonight rests on Cam Nance. He's had a tough year through the air, worsened by the loss of Nate Froelich. He was injured, as you know, in that HSE game a couple of weeks ago, so Cam has had to take the brunt of the load on offense, and he's changed his game to include a rushing aspect to try and keep this offense balanced. They've had some injuries up front, so that also factors into how this offense has changed and adapted, as you'll see a lot of first-year starters trying to protect Nance tonight. He has some great weapons downfield in Kyle Papio and Matthew Meyer, so look for both of them to be used extensively against a Fishers team that has struggled to find a spark on defense this year. I talked to Coach Gilbert earlier in the week, and he said he's proud of how far this defense has come, with Kobe Hauser, Griffin Lickfield, and Colin Caldwell all stepping into leadership roles this season. They have done a great job of bolstering an already stacked defense. So it's really going to come down tonight to which team wants it more in this one here in Westfield, Joey.
As the Tigers make their way onto the field, let's take a look at Kobe Hauser. He'll be the starting running back for Westfield. He's also going to be the starting strong safety. He's the leading tackler on this defense, and he was described as a real natural-born leader by Coach Gilbert, and he's really going to need to be able to show some of that leadership on both sides of the field. Obviously on defense, he's been doing that all year, but this is his first week starting at the running back position, so he's going to be in charge of really helping out his senior quarterback, trying to shift the weight around there. Hauser has only 20 carries for 97 yards, but he has a touchdown, and on defense, he has a sack, an interception, and 71 tackles, so he's a real special talent on both sides of the ball.
That is true, Joey. He has greatly helped this team on defense this year, as you said, leading them in tackles. But it will remain to be seen tonight how he will adjust to having to start on both sides of the ball. Hopefully for Westfield, this offense, he will not get tired too quickly, and most of the pressure does not have to rest on the shoulders of quarterback Cam Nance tonight.
And you know it's so tough in high school sports. You see a lot of guys playing on both sides of the field, but it's going to be tough keeping the endurance up, keeping up the stamina as this game continues, because playing on both sides in a leadership position can be so taxing both mentally and physically, because you constantly have to be on your game. He'll be supported by Trevor Lickfeld, though the backup running back. Will see them splitting snaps as they try and sort out this running back situation for the Tigers, though. They've finally seems to have settled into a sort of offense now as they've gotten running back H.L. Lewis off the ground, and that's really been the mentality from the day one. They've always wanted to run a balanced offense. They've just had some trouble finding success on the ground. With H.L. Lewis, he's given them that, and it's really opened things up downfield for passes.
And tonight, the key for this Fishers offense is going to be how Matt Wolf adjusts to having to play every single snap tonight without dual threat quarterback John Vore out with a concussion tonight. So we'll see how Lewis comes back in this game after his first career 100-yard rushing performance last week, and if that can help take the load off of Wolf at all tonight against this Shamrock defense.
And also helping to take the load off of Wolf, Colin Stotts, Will Cyrus, two great receivers, both playing in the ZNX position respectively. We'll see them as downfield threats. We'll see them on screen routes. Just a very adaptable sort of wide receiver core that we'll see in pretty much every situation tonight. Both guys able to make some big-time plays downfield. Also keep an eye out for Donovan McFarland. He's a speedy kid with a great spin move that's set plenty of defenders onto the ground, as Alex Bales is here to kick this one away. The junior kicker. He's also the place kicker, also the punter, so he wears many hats on this special teams. High punt, high kick up in the air, going to be fielded around the 15-yard line. That's Davis with it. He gets out past the 25 before he's knocked down just past that right hash mark. So a good return sets him up at around the 24-yard line. Davis was able to get 11 on that one. So now we'll see the first look at Tiger offense, first look at the Shamrock defense, as they'll be trying to make a stand here on senior night. Tigers come out here with Cyrus and Stotts stacked on that right side. Going to be under center with Lewis, the lone back. Tigers looks like they're showing a run here. It's going to be handoff to Lewis. Lewis making something happen there. He looked like he was going to be tackled for a loss, but he was able to pick up 3 yards.
Shamrock's defense on that play was able to read that quite nicely. Lewis only picking up a couple there, so it will be second, and it looks like 8 from Fisher's own 27, I believe.
Colin Caldwell able to get on the tackle there, bring Lewis down. For only a 2-yard gain, they'll go back under center. Wolf hands it off to Lewis again. They'll try it one more time. He had blocking, was able to find a hole, pick up some speed. He's going to be stopped up at around the 33-yard line. But with a speedy back like H.L. Lewis, if you give him just a bit of daylight, he's able to put on the burners, and he just really drug that defense behind him. 3rd and very short, looks like 3rd and inches, as the Tigers look for Matt Wolf to maybe get a QB sneak right up the middle. And something about this guy, Matt Wolf, when he gets a QB sneak, it oftentimes doesn't end up being a 1 or 2 yard gain. He's able to fall forward for 4 or 5. Looks like they're going to hand it off to Lewis. Lewis with his 3rd handoff of the night. He is stopped up for a loss. The Shamrocks able to play some good defense here in the early goings of the game and stop the Tigers up for a 4th down.
And this early in the game for the Shamrocks, it's all about reading the run and trying to pick up on what this Fisher's offense is trying to do with a dual threat rushing attack between Wolf and Lewis. This Shamrock defense has a lot to do tonight.
Ben Norton.
Nice job on the first drive.
Destroys this one all the way back towards the 20. Now the returner trailing over his shoulder, making a couple of guys miss. He's tackled out of bounds after a great return. That's Kobe Hauser, the safety and running back, with that 15-yard return.
And that is the first glimpse that we've got of Hauser's action tonight. So let's see how he does starting at running back as well as safety. As Joey said earlier, so far on the season, 20 carries, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. So in a leadership role on both sides of the ball tonight. Let's see how Hauser does.
Cameron Nance leads his offense out there for their first drive of the game. This will be the first look at this Tiger secondary that struggled against the pass so far on the year. And we'll see if Cam Nance can exploit that with Kobe Hauser as his running back. Both running backs for either side wearing 22 tonight as they battle up against each other. Out of the shotgun, quick pass. Decides to keep it for himself. There's going to be a flag thrown before he's thrown down for a couple of yards. That one thrown near the line of scrimmage as Nance made his way down the middle. Looked like they created a hole for him, but it closed up just like that, and that's going to move him down for a holding. 10-yard penalty. It's going to push him back all the way to their own 24-yard line.
That's the type of mistake that you cannot make on your first play of your first drive. The Shamrocks have got to rebound from this one and not keep making these kinds of penalties tonight.
So they're pushed back 1st and 20, all the way back near their own 20. Cam Nance is going to have another chance here, another go at it. He was able to pick up 3 yards before that holding on a quick little QB sneak as he had no receivers open downfield. He's going to be the lone back here. Split receivers to both sides. He has time to pass and not on the same wavelength. He was trying to find his wide receiver there on a close route, and that will make the connection.
Nance, more of a rushing quarterback than a passing quarterback, looked very thrown off on that play. Westfield cannot let this early setback get to them if they want to succeed early in this game.
Looked like Pat Beam was looking further downfield for it. Nance threw that one just a bit short. Weren't able to make the connection. That brings up a 2nd and 20. And they need to get some yardage here on the 2nd down. You never want a 3rd and 20, a 3rd and long. That can be so hard to get back from. He'll be out of the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Hauser in motion. Nance is going to keep it himself. Great move. Cuts out to the outside, able to avoid the tackle for as long as possible. Gets all the way up to the 33. And a lot of these runs that we'll see from Cam Nance, they're not designed QB runs, but if he sees a hole open up as the secondary shifts downfield, he's going to take advantage of it.
That's a great thing about both of these quarterbacks playing tonight, that dynamic ability to turn nothing into something with their legs. And as we saw on that last play, Nance might be bringing this drive back with his legs, just as I've stated.
Hand up the middle. That's Hauser with it. Hauser stopped up, brought down by Seth Sondage after picking up a couple of yards, and there's a flag down on the far side of the field. That's going to set the Shamrocks back even further. If this is accepted, penalties decline, so that'll bring up a 4th down, 4th and 9, as the punting unit will make their way out for both teams. Forced to punt after a couple of 3-and-outs. Both defenses doing a good job of standing up against some high-powered offense, but for the Shamrocks, what really broke this entire drive down was that early holding penalty. They just weren't able to come back from it. Alex Bales with a high punt there, forcing Colin Stotts back. He throws up the fair catch. Tigers are going to start this next drive from the 17. So Matt Wolf gets his second chance of the game with only about 4 minutes taken off the clock to come back into here, see if they can get a better outcome after that first drive. 3 rushes for 7 yards. And they're really trying to dictate the pace of this game with their running game early on. Expect maybe some short passes, some short routes just to test the waters of the secondary on this drive. Wolf under center. He's got Lewis as his back, Dunnick in fullback. Play action pass going back here across the middle. Just throws it a bit behind Will Cyrus. Not able to make the connection. That's going to be incomplete, 2nd and 10. So the Tigers' first pass attempt of the night doesn't end up being successful, but look for them to go back to that play action. It's a staple of their playbook. Something we'll see all of tonight as they're going to go into the shotgun for the first time. Wolf back to pass. He's going to go short with it over to Will Cyrus. Throws it too far to the right. Cyrus not able to make the grab.
This early in the game, it's common to see Cyrus and Stotts getting involved. These short passes, as you've mentioned, but it looks like tonight Wolf and Cyrus are not making the type of connection that they're needing to in order to drive this ball down the field.
And you hope these are pre-game jitters. These are pretty nice passes. Wolf is throwing just a couple of steps behind. Let it get out of your system early. You want to be at your A-plus game going forward. This is a Shamrock team hungry for blood in the HCC. They're trying to get to 500 with this game. They're showing a blitz with 2 linebackers. Wolf out of the shotgun and a passing down. He's going to step up in the box. He's got room to run. Caught up way before the first down marker, and the QB spy there thrown on by the Shamrocks works to perfection. So Fisher's 2 drives, 2 punts. So that'll bring up a 4th and 2. Ben Norton out here for the second time in just 5 minutes. As he's got Kobe Hauser eagerly awaiting this one. Beautiful punt from Norton down the far sideline. That's not going to be able to be returned, but it takes a great bounce in favor of the Fishers Tigers. Ends up at the 31-yard line. This is where Westfield started off that last drive, but then when they were called back 10 yards for a holding, they're going to look to see if they can get the first down, the first down of the entire game on this one.
Both of these offenses been given a lot of chances here early in the game to make up for some bad early drives. So after Fishers was not able to capitalize on their first 2, let's see how Westfield reacts to that.
Cam Nance will come out here in the shotgun with Hauser behind him. And when I say behind him, he's way behind him in this stacked formation. It's going to be handed off to Hauser. Hauser with blocking. He gets brought down. Good tackle after a yard gain.
Hauser been given a few carries so far, but not making a lot of noise yet. The biggest run that we've seen on the Shamrock side of the ball tonight has come from Nance, the quarterback.
Yeah, Nance was able to get a 9-yarder from a 2nd and 20, brought that to a 3rd and 11 situation. And he's really showing off his wheels. Tigers putting on a QB spy, QB man, looking at him. And that one dropped, hit into the air, almost intercepted, but hits the ground harmlessly. He was trying to find Eli Patchett downfield. So this will bring up another third down. 7 minutes and 2 seconds left to play in this one. 3rd and 8 from the 33. Obvious passing down. It's going to be a real battle between the secondaries, it seems like, as we're seeing a lot of these passing downs, as those first 2 downs really aren't doing a lot to get them downfield. So now it really rests on Nance. Can he make the connection to a wide receiver, get the first? He's going to run with it himself. He's keeping it. He's got room to run. Great blocking downfield. He's across the 50. Brought down by a host of Tigers after a 20-yard gain.
And that was a huge hole in that Tiger defense there. They cannot let those kind of things slip through the cracks if they're going to want to hold this Westfield offense in this first quarter here.
And I think everyone, including myself, wasn't expecting a pass on that down. Really caught everyone off guard with that design QB keeper. He's going to be the lone back in this formation. As Fishers is in the 4-3. Showing a blitz. Flag down on the far side. False start. An illegal motion call called against the Shamrocks, so this will push them back. And that's 2 early penalties, putting them in less than favorable positions. This will be a 1st and 15.
We talked before the game about the pressure resting on Nance's shoulders tonight, and it's looked like he has done a lot of the work, especially with his fellow teammates on offense, making a lot of penalties early.
Short pass over the middle, caught by Pettijohn. He makes the grab. Across the middle, a quick update on another HCC conference game. Brownsburg is up 7-0 with 8:14 left in the first quarter, up against Noblesville. That's at Noblesville. You can catch that game on Hamilton County TV. As we have a pretty hard-fought battle already in this one. 2nd and 5 from the 38. Nance, the lone back. He's back to pass. He's going to keep it himself. Nice little juke move. He gets in the middle, and the scrambling has worked wonders for this offense. He picks up 3 yards.
Tiger defense was able to read that one a little better. Didn't let him slip through the cracks there, but he was able to get just that much closer to a first down, so it will be 3rd and 3.
Seth Sontage was able to wrangle him after picking up that short little gain, but this is a 3rd and short. Good position for the Shamrocks to go forward. They're almost in field goal range, and if they want to put any points on the board, they're going to have to get the first down. That's what they do. Pettijohn open over the middle. He's still on his feet, breaks an arm tackle. He's brought down to the 25.
And if you're this Fisher secondary, you've got to keep a good eye on Pettijohn. He is a speedy guy, and he is a great asset in Nance's passing game for this Westfield offense.
Flag down on the far side. That's going to be called against the Tigers, so just really boosting this first down yardage. Moving them down all the way now into the red zone. The Tigers now forcing themselves to make a red zone stop as the Shamrocks are marching down the field on their second drive. Empty backfield. This is where they've been so potent with Nance being given the option to run. He's working the snap count, trying to catch the Tigers off sides. 15 seconds on the play clock. A lot of protection so far from Nance. He hasn't really been hurried, trying to find Pettijohn, that one over his head. But if Fishers wants to find some success on defense, they really have to hurry him. Don't give him all that time in the pocket. Make him make a decision early on.
As we've seen so far tonight in this first quarter, when he has to make that kind of quick decision, he has not been nearly as successful as when he is allowed to run and take off with the ball.
Up front, that team of Robinson, McLaurin, Mara, Johnson, and Craig have been doing a fantastic job in keeping Nance protected. He's going to keep it himself. He's running with it. Jeffrey Brown bursting into the backfield brings him down, but another flag thrown. But Jeffrey Brown, good job of reading that one, getting inside, tackling Nance before he could get too far, bringing him down for a loss. That's going to be a face mask against the Tigers, though, so that great defensive play is erased after that penalty. So it went from losing yardage to being moved ever so closer to this goal line. Half the distance to the goal. Up to the 11 now. So really just a 2nd and 9. Nance is going to be out of the shotgun. He's got Hauser behind him in the I form. A modified I form. Hauser is 5 yards back behind him. Only 2 receivers to the left. Tigers showing blitz. It's going to be a speed option. Nance elects to keep it himself. He's tackled just around the 11. Tigers were all over that one. So this is going to be a 3rd and 8. Nance did a good job of really selling that lateral on the speed option, but the Tigers weren't caught off guard. Were able to keep with him in pursuit.
Tiger defense has done a great job of reading these plays so far. Up at the goal line, it was just that penalty that caused them to have the yardage that they caused Westfield to lose get taken back away from them.
So with 3 seconds on the play clock, they're going to need to hike the ball. Get it at literally the last second. Nance is hit. The ball is loose. Seth Santic recovers it. He's up to the 25. A huge hit on the blind side. And Cam Nance, after that great drive, gives it up in a pretty costly position. Just stunned silence from this Westfield sideline. They were looking at least putting 3 points on the board. Now they're back on the defensive.
If you're Fishers, that is the kind of looks you like to get up front. Getting the ball back to your offense after a near score by Westfield.
And you know that's got to be a confidence booster. Could that be the momentum they need to get things going on offense? We'll see with Wolf under center. He's got Stotts in motion. Handoff to Lewis. Lewis working that outside edge. Flag thrown as he is brought down for a loss.
Fisher's first 2 drives pretty unsuccessful. And this first play on this next drive also tackled for a loss on the first play. But we'll see who this penalty goes against.
It's going to be an illegal shift against the Tigers, so that'll move them back 5 yards from the spot of the foul. So they're moving back in their own side and really just making it tough for themselves going forward. Not able to find the right combination of what's working against this Shamrock team or in the early goings of this one.
Coming out of the gate, it was Westfield with all the penalties, a couple in a row on their first couple drives, and now Fishers has really made it difficult for themselves, both on Westfield's last drive and now this drive after a crucial turnover by the Fishers defense. So this will set up a 1st and 15.
Out of the shotgun is Wolf. Going to see if he can complete his first pass of the night. He's going downfield with a deep ball. Far side, Will Cyrus, the intended receiver, just a step behind the throw.
Wolf with a good pass, just out of the hands of Cyrus, over his head.
Just a couple of yards too strong. But I love the ambition in this first quarter as the Tigers were going for a game changer of a play. If Cyrus gets the ball on that far side in one-on-one coverage, it could be detrimental to the rest of the game for the Shamrocks, as that could split this scoring wide open. Wolf out of the shotgun again. Same formation. He's going to hand it off to Lewis. Lewis juking around, but this Shamrock team has done a fantastic job of rushing on the runs, really just getting in there and preventing Lewis from having any room to run.
Coming off of his first career 100-yard rushing game, as we mentioned, this is a real slow start for Lewis tonight up against this Westfield defense.
And this is a 3rd and very long from the 22, passing down for the Tigers. They're going to see if they can complete their first pass and with it hopefully gain some momentum to get downfield. Rolling out to his left. Wolf brought down for a tackle for loss. That's going to be a sack for this Westfield team. Getting in on that one, bringing him down.
Wolf's mobility can usually take him out of those situations, but the Fishers offensive line just was not giving him enough help there.
And Michael Delaney followed Wolf wherever he went on that one, really in good pursuit, brought him down, preventing the scramble for a first down. So the Tigers now with their third straight 3-and-out. Norton back on for the third time today. He absolutely destroys this one downfield, forces Hauser to run back, takes a tough bounce in favor of the Shamrocks. So that's going to up at the 41, the best starting position for them today.
Westfield's last drive ending with a turnover after they were in position to score. So we'll see how this Fishers defense responds, as their offense has not been helping them out much. They have not been off the field for very long on any of Fishers' drives. And
that is Cam Nance's 7th turnover on the year. But you can't let it get to you if you're the young quarterback. Got to just keep going forward, keep your head in the game, because you don't want to get thrown out of whack early on. He's had some great blocking all game. Just an overwhelming blitz from Fishers forced that fumble. He's going to be out of the shotgun here. Rolling back to pass, and just really hesitant with that one. They're going to say it went going to be an incompleted pass. Really dangerous, though. Threw that one basically off of the Tiger defense.
You can tell he's still shaken up from his previous play, which was a turnover. If you're Nance, you cannot let that get to you.
Quick update on that Brownsburg-Noblesville game, all tied up 7-7. Miller is putting up a good fight. They're at the bottom of the conference. Brownsburg up at the top. So keeping that one interesting. We'll keep you updated as Hauser gets the ball here. Gets across the line of scrimmage, but not much else. Three-yard gain up to the 45-yard line. 3rd and 7 now. Another third down in this one. Westfield has been successful on just around 33% of these tonight. Going to see if they can up that number. With Hauser to the left of Nance, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Really just a versatile situation. Look for the pass, look for the run, and that one's going to go far side. Caught. Beautiful athletic catch. They're going to say it was incomplete, stepped out of bounds. So a beautiful catch, just not able to drag that foot in, and a nice job by the Tiger defender to force him out of bounds before he could land in. So Alex Bales will be back on to punt again in this one, his 3rd punt of the game. Really a back-and-forth game so far, and either side able to find a lot of success. As this one is blasted down the sideline, McFarland steps back, picks it up at the 9. He's going to put on a little back juke, gets across to the 16. This Westfield defense trotting on. They must be thinking, we were just out there, because they really just had around 30 seconds of rest on the play clock.
And that's how it's been for both of these defenses. This entire quarter really been a huge punt fest. This entire quarter. Now this Tiger offense really has to get something going on this drive. This is their 4th drive after 3 3-and-outs in a row.
They haven't yet had their first down of the game. Looking to hopefully achieve that with trips to the right. Lewis, the running back. First completion, Cyrus gets it. He's going to bust his way through, going to pick up the first down on that short little route. Picks up around 10 yards. Pretty darn close to it.
And that will be his first reception of the night. That's the type of looks that Wolf was trying to get earlier a couple drives ago. He tossed a couple incomplete passes in Cyrus's way.
So that's going to be a 2nd and inches. Fisher's not able to get that first down of the game, not able to break that mental barrier that comes with it. Not quite yet, anyway.
Look for Wolf on the keeper this next play, as Fishers only has inches to pick up for their first down of the game.
They're going to run the play action. Wolf with nowhere to go. He's almost sacked, sheds off the tackler, forced to throw it away. That was a scary play for the Tigers. They only needed inches, and we're trying to go for it deep. Wolf able to shake off the sack. Cam Fry burst in there, the defensive end off the edge. He already has 2.5 sacks on the year. Was looking to add that to 3.5, but Wolf able to shrug the shoulder, step underneath it, keep this drive alive. 3rd and short. Both boxes loaded. I think everyone knows what's coming here with Dunnick in motion. They're just going to put their entire weight behind Wolf. Wolf diving forward, picks up 5 yards on that QB keeper. Really designed to pick up inches, but with him behind it, able to pick up yards. So this is the first down for Fishers. With it, I think some much needed momentum, really proving to themselves that they can do it, as well as to this defense that they're able to.
If Wolf can keep that connection with Cyrus and get the run game going, with Lewis not really having done anything so far in this first quarter.
Lewis stuffed up at the line of scrimmage. With that, that'll end the clock on the first quarter. So neither side able to find success on offense. 1 turnover in this game for the Westfield Shamrocks as Nance was sacked and the ball came loose. Fishers now driving with around on the 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line when we come back in the second quarter. We welcome you back to today's broadcast of IHSAA football on Hamilton County TV, presented by Logan Street Signs and Banners. I'm Joey Cerrone. Alongside me, Ross DeLong. It's been an interesting first half. But first, let's thank some of our sponsors: Logan Street Signs and Banners, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Church, Hiddle and Antrim, Smith Jewelers, Indiana Restoration, Hamilton County Calendars.com, Westfield Chamber, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and Penske Chevy. So the Tigers now driving 2nd and 10 from the 30. Wolf out of the shotgun. He's got trips to his right. Cyrus, the lone receiver, to his left. He's going to keep it himself on the read option. He's got room to run. Good blocking. He's across the 40-yard line. And that quick little design QB keeper picks up a first down. The Tigers were really working that ground and pound in the first quarter, and I think it's been all really just a big setup for this, plays like that. The read option where they're able to sell Lewis going to the right, Wolf going to the left, as there was an injured player down for the Shamrocks. He's able to make his way off the field under his own power. But still, that'll be a big loss, as that's Eric Kriskofich, the junior cornerback. He's been part of this defense that's really kept the Tigers off the board so far. He was matched up against Will Cyrus. So he'll be a big loss, as the Tigers get another first down, 1st and 10 from the 44. This will be a bit of a reset moment. Both sides able to consider what happened on that first play, gave them some time to think as they'll come right back out here. Wolf out of the under center formation. He's got Lewis behind him in the I form. He hands it off to Lewis. Lewis cutting back inside. Great run from Lewis as he's able to pick up 10 yards on that one after some good blocking up front. Cleared the space on the left side.
This Tiger offense really looking to have started picking up some yardage in this second quarter after a really Not mobile first quarter at all.
Now we'll see Dylan Scally check in at running back for H.L. Lewis. He'll see some looks. The young sophomore running back, Wolf. He's going to take it under center. He's got Scally behind him. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to his left. Hands this one off to Scally. Scally redirects. Ends up going north and south. Picks up 3 yards. And this is really a trademark of the Tiger running game as they're going to try and get out onto that edge side. You'll see a lot of blockers shifting, trying to create some space on the outside, and a lot of independent thinking from the running backs. A lot of this is in their hands, what type of moves they decide to put on. If they're going to cut upfield, as Scally did there, he was able to pick up 3, so the Tigers now 2nd and 7. Wolf back to pass. He cuts this one in the middle. Quick pass. McFarland able to hang on, and he's going to get a first down.
Good coverage there by the Westfield secondary, but it was not quite enough there as the Fishers receiver was able to pull in that one for a first down.
And Donovan McFarland is just so speedy in that inside edge. When he cuts into the middle, oftentimes it's too late. When the secondary realizes it, he's able to pick up a quick 10 yards as the Tigers now getting their offense going. Wolf under center. Blitz is being shown. They'll hand this one off up the middle. That's Scally. Scally able to create some room for himself, pick up a nice 5-yard gain.
Scally having a couple good looks on these last few plays here, as well as Wolf starting to show some more precision with his passes than he did in the first quarter. His Tiger offense is starting to roll.
And this is really what they are looking for at the start of every game, getting those 5-yard runs that allow you to open up the passing game with the play action looks. As Wolf on the bootleg, just able to create a lot of room for himself going downfield. Loading the box on the blitz. Wolf cuts back upfield. He gets chopped up, brought down after a couple of yards. There's the read option, and you saw this defense really staying in their lane, which is a good job, good show of discipline there that you won't see a lot out of high school football. Coach Gilbert keeps his guys in pretty good shape both mentally and physically as they were able to stay in their bases. So a 3rd and short from the 26. Van's trying to unnerve Matt Wolf as he's under center. We're going to get a timeout by the Tigers. But Ross, what I think we'll see here on a 3rd and short, do you think they'll stick conservative or go downfield with a pass?
I think they'll stay pretty conservative on this drive. That pick up a few yardage with each run has been successful for the Tigers so far. So I think look to Wolf and Scally on this one to pick up a few yards and just get the first down.
Of course, the Tigers in their back pocket, once they get to the red zone, they have Isaiah Dunnick and Bryce G. Dunnick is listed as a fullback, really plays like a modified tight end out of the backfield. Both those guys are able to make some grabs. Dunnick has 3 touchdowns on the year. G has 2. So look for them in the red zone as a part of this very strong tight end core. And you know, Kobe Hauser, this is his opportunity to help his own cause on offense. If he and his defense can make a stand here, it's only going to make it easier for himself going forward as the running back. Dunnick checks into the game for Donovan McFarland. He's going to come in as a blocker on the left side. Wolf under center. Everyone blitzing for this Shamrock team, expecting to run. It's going to be a quick pass. Wolf had enough time to throw. He gets the touchdown over to Colin Stotts on the far side. They went for it, and they got it. Matt Wolf literally had about half a second to make the throw. Colin Stotts was already downfield in that time. And that's the advantage you have when you have athletic, speedy wide receivers like Colin Stotts. He's able to create some space for himself. Wolf put that ball perfectly right into the hands of Colin Stotts, so they're going to put 6 on the board, the first score of the night.
As I said a minute ago, Wolf really finding precision with his passes on this drive as he finds his 3rd on the season, his 3rd touchdown pass on the season, sorry.
Point after from Norton. Low snap. They're going to go for two. Colin Stotts at quarterback, stepping back with it, throws into a host of defenders. That one's picked off into the end zone, but the Tigers really showing that they're willing to go for it early.
Really speaks to the character of this Tiger team as they show the kind of edge that it has to have to go for two on the first touchdown of the game. They did miss it, but they will remain up 6-0 with 9 minutes in the second quarter.
So let's take a quick look at that pass on that touchdown pass as Wolf had it just a couple of seconds to throw. You saw the blitz coming in on him. Threw it downfield. Colin Stott's able to make the grab in the corner, get across the end zone. So the Tigers up by 6. Weren't able to get the 2-point conversion. But, you know, you love the ambition, but how about that adaptability from the Shamrocks? Looked like almost they were expecting that. They had a host of defenders crowded around G as he tried to make the grab for the 2-point conversion, but they were able to come away with the interception. They're only down by 6 here, and that could come back and haunt the Tigers. If this is a close game that might be tough going forward, if you're down by just a point, if it ends up being matched touchdown for touchdown, as I think this game might be, it's been pretty close in the early goings. Don't see why that would change. But the Tigers are first on the board. We're going to see if the Shamrocks can answer back with 9:01 on the clock. Norton to kick this one away. Hauser and Pettijohn back to return. This one going to go over to Hauser. Right in front of the goal line. He'll pick it up at the 2. Going to start his return, picking up some speed. Not able to get past the tackle. He gets to around the 27.
Good return there by Hauser, the guy who is currently playing special teams, offense, and defense for the Shamrocks.
You know, he really doesn't need rest. And if you're a player like that, you don't want to be taken off the field. He feels like he has just been such a big part of this team, and he really has been. So he loves to be out there making a difference for his team. Going to see if he can make a difference at running back out of the I form here with Nance in the shotgun. This is a formation we've seen the option run a couple of times. It's going to be handed off to Hauser. Hauser bouncing around to the edge, making a couple of guys miss. He's going to pick up almost a first down all the way down to the 37-yard line.
Hauser not showing any signs of fatigue so far in these first 2 quarters, making plays on both sides of the ball as well as that last return.
So they're going to go back into this shotgun I form. Split receivers to both sides. They're going to hand it off. Actually, it's a play action. Pass over to Pettijohn. Pettijohn with a back juke. He's brought down by 4 Tiger defenders, but not before picking up a first down. Caleb Pettijohn showing the ability to stop on a dime there. He's able to get past a couple of defenders, stretch that one for a couple more yards. This one's going to be handed off to Hauser. Hauser met by Sontage, driven back by Sontage. And I think by the end of this game, he's going to learn to dread that name. Seth Sontage has 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions on the year, and he has just been a real tough guy to play against as a quarterback. Can hurt you in a lot of different ways. He was the one that picked up that fumble recovery on the 3rd drive of the game for the Shamrocks. They're trying to make their way back, 2nd and 8. Nance back to pass. He's going to go across the middle. That one bobbled, caught by Pettijohn. Dangerous play there, 50-50 ball. Pettijohn able to make the grab, pick up a 3rd and short.
Pettijohn making a couple really good catches on this drive, coming down with a couple tough receptions. As that last was bobbled, but it was eventually caught.
He was able to pull it back in before Roman Mullen was able to force it loose, so good awareness knowing where the defenders were on that one. Quick snap up to Hauser in the middle. He's going to get the first down. So the Shamrocks offense not skipping a beat as they just keep motoring down the field against the Tigers. First and 10 there on the Tigers side of the ball. 44-yard line with about 6:48 left in this second quarter in the first half. Nance working the snap count. He's going to look to the coaching staff, make a quick audible. As the Tigers showing a zone defense look here, cover 2. Going to hand this one off to Hauser. Hauser brought down for a loss. He was redirected forward after being wrapped up by Davis in this Tiger defense. Looked like he was able to bounce forward for a yard.
That Tiger defense was ready for that one. Just absolutely thrown to the ground by Davis, who is a huge presence for this Tiger defense up front.
Quick update on that Brownsburg-Noblesville game. Brownsburg retaking the lead. They're up 14-7. They're shaping up to be a pretty high-scoring affair. That one lofted into the air. Hauser able to get underneath it. Great blocking from a single receiver up against 3 Tiger defenders. That's going to get Hauser across the 40. That was a great pass, great decision from Nance to loft that one in the air. There was a Tiger D-end in the backfield. He had read the eyes of Nance, jumped in the air, but that one just perfectly thrown over his hands. It's going to be a 3rd and 2. Hauser to the left of Nance. Look for a run up the middle as they'll try and get a quick first down, keep this drive moving. Tiger defense seemed to be a little bit confused in their coverage. Play action pass over the middle. This one intercepted by the Tigers. Colin Shelton there on the redirection. That one was first touched up front by Emmanuel Davis. And a dangerous throw results in the second turnover of the game for Nance.
It was a fantastic job reading the play action by the Tiger defense as it eventually resulted in a pick.
Let's take another look at this one. You'll see Nance went on the play action, looked a little bit panicked, threw it into the coverage, and that one bounced in the air. Great job by Colin Shelton, able to watch the redirect, watching into his hands, and he made the diving grab like a wide receiver. He's going to give his Fishers Tigers the ball back on the 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Seems like every time the Shamrock offense gets going, the Tiger defense able to force a turnover. And there's going to be a turnover right back. Ball is loose. Tigers give it right back to the Shamrocks. Fumble picked up as the Tigers had some miscommunication on the handoff. Looked like both Lewis and Wolf had a handle at it at the same time. We're going to take another look at this one. You'll see they just really didn't have the communication there. Looked like a read option, but then both of them ended up running the same way. You'll see the ball pop loose as they hit the dirt at around the same time, and great job, great awareness, able to dive in that. And the Shamrocks get the ball back pretty much where they turned it over. So that moves the game total turnovers to 3. As Amadi is into the box, Cam Nance able to break the tackle. That, by all rights, should have been a sack. He was able to just redirect the hit and pick up 3 yards in the process. Seth Sontage forced into recovery mode as he had to chase Nance down, bring him down. A great jump from Amadi, but just not able to wrap up Nance. Shamrocks are going to stack their receivers on the right and left side. Watch for one in the flat, because that's what's going to be. 2 quick slants across the middle, forcing the Tigers to choose, and choose they do. Bring them down for a big hit, but that's going to be a penalty marker on the field.
And this game so far has been full of both turnovers and penalties. Both sides of the ball, if they're wanting to find success, are going to need to limit those seriously.
And it looks like that's going to be an illegal use of hands downfield against the Shamrocks, so they're going to get moved even further back. But really just a ton of penalties so far, and you'd expect that from an early season game, but with only 2 weeks to go, both these teams really have had the chance to get these jitters out of their system, but so far tonight, we're seeing a little bit of a mental lapse from both sides as they both committed a lot of penalties so far tonight. This is going to bring up a 2nd and 22 from the 42-yard line. Nance has 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. That's Pettijohn. Nance looking for the quick pass, lofting it downfield. That one almost intercepted by Emmanuel Davis. That's just a tough pass, 50-50 ball. As he was trying to find his receiver downfield in Kyle Papio. So Ross, a 3rd and 22. What sort of look should we expect from the Shamrock team?
Well, they're going to be looking downfield, definitely. 3rd and long is not a situation you want to be in. So I would expect more looks to Papio, who has not made a ton of noise in this first half so far, Joey.
That was his first target of the game. Expect more from him going forward. Nance seems to be a little shaken after throwing that interception. He steps up in the pocket. He is brought down for a loss near the 50-yard line. The Tiger defense making a stand and making a statement. That's going to be a 4th and 30 from almost the 50-yard line. So the Tigers able to force Westfield out of field goal range. Take another look at this one as the Tigers were able to make the great defensive stop, bringing them down for a sack with 3 Tiger defenders in total on that one.
4th and 30 is just about one of the biggest holes that you can be in. And that was a nice job by the Tiger defense reinforcing that after a penalty by Westfield. Truly putting the exclamation point on that drive for Fishers.
Alex Bales hits this one pretty much straight up in the air. Stotts puts up the fair catch at around the 16. But good job of Bales able to keep his composure as Tiger defense was in there on special teams, almost really in his field of vision, close to blocking that one. This is a Tiger team that last year blocked 4 punts in total. So you have to be careful if you're the offensive line and Alex Bales. First and 10 from the 17. The Tigers on that last drive fumbled it after 1 play. Going to see if they can do a bit better here with 2:57 left in this first half. It's going to be handed off to Lewis. Lewis still on his feet. He gets the first down, breaking hosts of tackles left and right. He's going to get all the way out to the 30-yard line.
That was some good blocking by the guys up front for Fishers, allowing Lewis to pick up the first down.
H.L. Lewis started off this year on the injured reserve for the Tigers. This run from him is going to be called back for a holding, so that's going to be a 1st and 20. But Lewis started off as the 2nd-string running back. Then he was injured. Then he was the 2nd string. Now he was catapulted to that starting position and really has been able to hold his own. Last week he picked up 127 on the ground. This week he's had a little bit of trouble getting started, but even though that last run was called back, he was able to pick up 10. That's going to be good for his confidence. Wolf is going to be out of the shotgun a lot closer to his own goal line than he would like to be. He's going to be back to pass. Force into the end zone. Drops this one off to Lewis for the safety valve route. Lewis still on his feet, cutting upfield. He's going to erase this deficit as he is hit hard past the first down, but he was able to get the first down, picking up 17 yards. But there's another flag down in the backfield. And that's another holding against Fishers. They're going to be moved all the way down to the 1-yard line.
If you're Fishers right now, you've got to be real disappointed in yourselves. 2 holding calls in a row after potentially what were Lewis's 2 best plays of the game so far.
So it's going to be half the distance to the goal. 1st and 20 from the 7-yard line. Real tough position here for Fishers. Expect a run to Lewis to try and create some breathing room. It's going to be a handoff. He's brought down back behind the line of scrimmage. So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 22 from the 5-yard line. Tigers counterproductive on that play, looking to go forward, ended up heading back. Timeout from the Shamrocks, and with that, we're going to take advantage of their break, take a little bit of a break of our own. When we come back, 2nd and 22, Tigers on their own 5. Welcome back to Hamilton County TV. Joey Cerrone, Ross along here with you. Tigers pushed all the way back to the 5-yard line after they committed 2 holding penalties in a row. So those are some pretty tough calls going against them. Now they need to see if they can come back and try and make their way downfield. You don't want a safety with 2:01 left in this first half. Wolf back in his own end zone. He's going to throw this one bouncing off the hands of a receiver. That's going to end up on the ground. He was looking for Stotts on the screen route. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and about a mile for this Fishers team. Backed up very far here, and right now what you got to be focusing on is not turning the ball over, not ending up in your own end zone. Just trying to get yourself some breathing room. Don't want to risk the interception from a range like this. Expect a conservative play. But again, as we saw with that touchdown pass, Tigers have been anything but predictable in situations like this. Wolf is going to keep it himself, breaks a tackle, breaks another. He's going to get all the way to the line of scrimmage before he is stopped up by all 11 defenders. So that's going to bring out Ben Norton. Norton punting from the Westfield sign in the end zone. Timeout called by Fishers. They're going to take a second to regroup. With 1:50 left in this first half, Tigers up by 6. Ross, this Westfield defense, and really the Tiger defense, been able to capitalize when penalties are called against the offense.
That is true. We've seen both of these offenses this first half, so many calls going against both of them. And it kind of seems like they're just killing themselves, honestly, out there. They have got to limit those mistakes if they're going to try and get the ball down the field, especially as we saw in that last drive. Fisher's first 2 plays to a great run by H.L. Lewis and then a great pass. Both would have ended up first downs that the holding penalties cost both of them, and then Fisher seemed to be just shaken, thrown off after that. So
the Tigers have a 4th and 22. The Shamrocks had a 4th and 30 on their last drive. Really something that we're seeing become more and more commonplace in this game as the pressure is mounting. Both teams having a bit of trouble staying up underneath it. Norton all the way back in his end zone. Low snap. He's able to get this one away in the face of a couple of defenders. He gets it past the 50, takes a nice little bounce, and it's going to end up at the 41-yard line. And the Tiger offense in that last drive seems to be struggling a little bit with getting the passing offense going. That's because most of the time, as we said, they like to split snaps with John Vore, Matt Wolf. But Vore, of course, injured with concussion, so they're really just forced to switch their game plan pretty much in a week's time. And this Shamrock team doing a good job of capitalizing against that. Tigers haven't been able to make a ton of plays downfield in the secondary other than that touchdown in the drive leading up to it a couple of drives ago. But this Tiger defense doing a great job of forcing turnovers. That one handed off up the middle. Brought down after a couple of yard gain.
with those couple turnovers by the Westfield offense, you know, really, they've actually moved the ball a lot more than Fishers has in this first half. They could be up 14-6 right now, but due to those couple mistakes, very good looks by the Fishers defense, it is still 6-0 Fishers.
Hand up to Hauser up the middle. Hauser able to hold off Sontage for long enough to get to right in front of that first down marker. We'll see where they spot him. They're going to call him a couple of yards back. So this will bring up a 3rd and 1. Nance out of the shotgun with Hauser to his right. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left at the 49-yard line. They'll snap this one, play action pass. This is what we saw intercepted early this time, but Kyle Papio wide open down the middle inside the 10. No interception there, just a great pass from Cam Nance.
And that was Papio's, just his 2nd target this whole game. First one not ending up in a reception, but that is a beautiful first reception for Papio, getting Westfield closer to the goal line.
Cam Nance going to keep it himself, really selling the read option. He's going to high step his way into the end zone. Great job there by playing up the expectation of the handoff to Hauser. Nance keeps it himself, and we're tied up 6-6. This Shamrock offense, you see when they cut out the mistakes, they are a very talented offense. So we saw right there as they were able to drive down the field, pick up the touchdown. Cam Nance really the orchestrator there. He had a 40-yard pass followed up by just a 7-yard run. Point after is through the uprights from Bales. So that's going to put up the Rocks 7-6. Ross, really like what I'm seeing so far from this offense from the Shamrocks when they are, you know, really just pushing themselves back. We'll take another look at the pass that set it up over to Kyle Papio in the middle. This was really one of the defining plays of this drive. Beautiful pass. Secondary wasn't there. Papio was wide open across the middle. Tigers were forced to play some quick recovery, and that set them up for a 1st and goal from the 7.
And Joey, that scrambling touchdown from Nance, we talked before the game about how both of these quarterbacks from both Westfield and Fishers, Nance and Wolf, both have very dynamic capabilities with their legs, but really, so far we've seen Wolf get maybe a couple of good runs, but so far it's been all Nance with a great run on one of their earlier drives in the first quarter, and now a rushing touchdown.
Tigers have 36 seconds to answer back. Down 7-6. Going to see if they can add to their cause, maybe put a field goal on the board coming out of this first half with a lead. Ben Norton, their kicker, his long is 52 yards. So as long as they're on the other side of the field, pretty much in his range. That one is crushed by Bales. That's going to end up a touchback for the Tigers, so they'll start off 1st and 10 from the 20. Really going to need to work some quick offense here. That last drive of theirs sent them back a couple of steps as they were all the way back to a 4th and 22. So Fishers, they're just going to need this one, let the clock run out. In that Brownsburg-Noblesville game, it's 20-10. That's the score for the first half. The Tigers are going to need it, let the clock run out. So they'll go into the locker room, see if they can regroup here. They're down by 1. Ross, this Shamrock offense has really been impressing me so far this game. Able to work multiple situations, able to get the ball downfield with passing, running, and Cam Nance has just done fantastic even after those 2 turnovers. Able to get himself back into the game, keep himself level, and he's done a great job of keeping his team in it.
In the second half, this Tiger defense is going to need to come out and really focus on controlling Nance and keeping both him and Hauser, who has had some great success at running back in the first half, from making too many plays with their legs.
Secondary has done a pretty admirable job for Fishers. They've only given up 1 real long pass, but afterwards that set up, obviously, the touchdown from Cam Nance on the read option. But if that secondary can stay strong, really neutralize the passing outlet of it, I think they should be able to make some good predictions, calling it when they're trying to play against the run when they're trying to play run defense, and really keep this Shamrock team out of the end zone. Because as we've seen, you said it, really Shamrocks could have and should have a couple more scores on the board, but the Tigers were able to force some turnovers in some pretty clutch positions. But I don't think they can count on that looking forward. You know, Fisher's had some good plays on defense, but they really need to be smarter when they're calling these plays.
See, both of these teams have a lot of improvements they can make in the second half, and both sides have to be really glad about those mistakes that the other side has made in the first half. Fisher's with a lot of penalties, especially on offense. They're going to need to go into the second half looking to limit that if they're going to want to regain the lead that they enjoyed earlier in this half, in the second half. And as we talked about, Westfield needing to limit the turnovers on offense, and Fisher's with the defense wanting to get some more good looks and keep pressuring that Westfield offense and hopefully create some more turnovers.
We'll be right back with more halftime analysis right after this quick break on Hamilton County Television.
The IHSAA, in partnership with Blue Frame Technology, is pleased to announce that you can now watch your favorite IHSAA sports on the all-new IHSAA TV Apple TV app. Watch live or search through thousands of archived broadcasts. Have an older Apple TV? You can still watch on your TV by going to AirPlay on your iOS device and choosing Apple TV. Download the new Apple TV app now in the Apple TV App Store.
We all have our own story about community.
I truly felt that each doctor, technician, and nurse had the same goal: provide exceptional care and make it simple.
Because of my chronic illness, I have an entire team on my side.
With Community's My Chart, I keep track of everything.
When community says exceptional care, simply deliver it. Those aren't just 4 words at the end of a TV spot.
It's for community patients at the end of a TV spot.
Telling you to believe every word.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for Logan Street signs and banners.
You found us.
But this ain't Logan Street. This is South 10th.
We moved 22 years ago.
Well, how come you didn't change the name?
That would have just confused people.
Well, actually, South 10th is Allisonville, if you're from Fishers.
Well, before that it was 37A, and before that it was State Road 37.
So you're telling me that Logan Street signs and banners isn't on Logan Street anymore? It's actually on South 10th. That's Allisonville and Fishers. And before that, it was 37A and 37?
So you got that straight?
Logan Street signs and banners conveniently not located on Logan Street, but rather South 10th Street in Noblesville.
Exactly.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake. Yeah.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got a counter right here. Isn't this where you place the orders?
We sell trophies, we sell plaques, we do embroidery. No food.
You got carry out?
Unlike the internet, everything that you need we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
You know, Jim, I'll be back tomorrow to pick it all up.
We'll wait for you.
Don't wait long.
Breast care navigation at Community is a lot like sailing. Navigators have to read the wind without seeing the wind.
The breast care navigator will follow the patient and their family through the continuum of care.
My nurse navigator was always there.
Just to be an advocate for that patient.
You need the biggest support system that you can, and to know that you have one other person there who can help you through it is definitely something that is amazing.
Westfield. Eli Ross, Eli Performance Cheering Jim Ross. Following high school, he plans to study construction management in college. Spencer Snyder, Spencer is a son of Cameron Nance. He plans to attend college following high school graduation. Seth Crockett, Seth's parents are Paul and Matthew Crockett.
Welcome back to the Hamilton County TV Sports Network, the Fisher Sports Network takeover of Hamilton County TV. I'm Joey Cerrone. Alongside me, Ross DeLong. Ross, pretty interesting first half for both teams. Total turnovers in the half, we're looking at 3 turnovers, 2 from Westfield, 1 from the Tigers. But right now, Westfield is up by just a single point. Tigers try to go for a 2-point conversion after their score, but ended up not being able to convert. For Westfield, they were able to get a long pass that set up a quick read option. Let's take a quick look at some of those first half stats. Passing yards, the Shamrocks are around 85 passing yards on the day. The Tigers only at 47. Rushing, it's a bit more even, 56 for the Shamrocks, 50 for Fishers. First downs were at 5 apiece and turnovers 2 and 1. So those are really what set up the game so far to this point. The real keys to the castle, if you will. But Ross, let's talk a little bit about Hauser, as he's going to have to split more and more snaps going forward on offense and defense. It's going to be tough for him to keep the stamina up as this game goes on.
That is true, Joey. And as we saw in the first half, Hauser actually was able to make a lot of great plays on offense. He was a key piece in the rushing offense of the Shamrocks in the first half, in driving down the field 3 times and scoring once. So it's gonna put a lot on his shoulders here in the second half. To ask him to maintain that stamina through these next 2 quarters. And I think that is going to be one of the biggest keys, if not the biggest key, for Westfield to maintain their lead in the second half and come out of here with a win.
And, of course, a way that they can really help themselves out with that is utilizing Kyle Papio more on offense. He's only been targeted twice, but he has a reception for 40 yards. Expect for him to get more looks from Cam Nance going forward. And, of course, Cam Nance has done a great job as a two-way quarterback, really been spreading his options out, keeping this Tiger team guessing. So if they can keep that up, I think they should be able to keep the lead. Fishers now needs to come out on defense with a new energy, a defined strategy this time, so they can make those stops when they need to. They have already forced 2 turnovers, but they just really need to force a little bit more pressure on Nance in the backfield.
And as you were saying about Papio, he came into this game with 14 receptions and 222 yards, now 15 and 262 yards, and he has 2 touchdowns on the season. The Fishers secondary so far tonight has done a good job at keeping him in check, but through this second half, as the Fishers secondary looks to not get fatigued, as we talked about with Hauser, and Papio looking to make more plays downfield, as that one that we saw at the end of the first half that eventually led to Westfield taking the lead.
And, of course, for Fishers, you talk about that stamina on defense. It's going to be very tough to keep up against this run-pass offense that we'll see from Westfield, as they can really hit you from any scenario, as we've seen Cam Nance rush for it when it was a design pass play. He's able to switch things up on the fly, which makes him so versatile, so dangerous against this Fishers defense. They'll need to be able to react going forward if they want to keep themselves in it. And on offense, they really saw some good looks at the end of that first half in the passing. Over to Colin Stotts. He had that touchdown from Wolf. Collins' fourth touchdown on the year. So look for them to try and exploit that matchup problem that we're seeing downfield, as Colin Stotts has really only been targeted a couple of times, but he was able to get a touchdown out of it.
And you were talking about that dual threat offense with Westfield, with about even between the passing and the rushing game. For Fishers, as you talked about, some good pass plays, including the touchdown to Stotts. However, in the second half, if Fishers is going to continue scoring and driving the ball down the field, they're going to need to get the rushing game up to par with the passing game from the first half. And we saw Lewis, the running back, had a good run that ended up being marred by a holding penalty called against Fishers. That could have maybe given Fishers the momentum they needed in their run game to drive down the field, but the holding call ended up working against them there as they got stuffed within their own 5-yard line. So a big key for Fishers in this second half is going to be to get the ball to Lewis and have him drive it down the field and really try and get the run game more involved in the second half than it was in the first half.
And you talk about the penalties. That's got to be one of the biggest things on both these coaches' minds, Coach Gilbert, Coach Wimmer, as they were in those locker rooms. That's really been a huge factor in this game. It's called back a lot of big-time plays and really forced them in some tough situations. So that's got to be something you need to cut out going forward. This far in the season, you really expect from your offensive line and those guys up front to be able to eliminate those mistakes. You expect them to be at midseason form, but in tonight's game, it's just been real tough for them to keep their heads out there. Referees are calling a very, very tight game. As we've seen, they are not shy to throw the flag. So both teams need to be careful going forward because it's really just counting against them in some pretty big ways.
And as you were talking about those penalties, the refs being tough, they have been tough on Fishers. Might I say tougher on Fishers than they have been on Westfield, but that is not to say that they have not been tough on Westfield as well, with Westfield actually coming out of the gate in the first quarter with a couple penalties on the first drive, and I think that is ultimately what early on, at least in the first quarter, limited them and caused them to not have as much success as Fishers and put Fishers up on the board first. That plus the turnovers, but later in the first half, Fishers was the unit that was showing to have more penalties. So we'll see how both sides of the ball play out in the second half and try to limit their mistakes going forward.
So the Tigers struck first, but the Shamrocks able to strike back, showing some luck in the game so far tonight. They're up 7-6. We'll be right back on the Hamilton County TV Network right after this.
Now representing the cheerleaders, our seniors are Lee Davis. Lee is the daughter of Julia Tidwell and James Davis. She plans to major in pharmacy at Purdue University. Jamie Castaway, Jamie's parents are Dale and Julia Castaway. She plans to attend Kelly School of Business at Indiana University. Michaela Jennings, Patty and Jeff Jennings are Michaela's parents. She plans to study medicine at Indiana University. Logan Sears, Logan is the daughter of Megan Williams Sears. She plans to attend Purdue or Butler School of Pharmacy. Riley Sperry. Riley is the daughter of Martin Chris Sperry. She plans to study accounting in college following high school graduation. Now representing our band, the Shamrock Pride. Our seniors are Katie Atwell. Katie is the daughter of Amy and Pat Mumwater. She plans to attend Purdue University for construction engineering. William Baker, Mom and David Baker are William's parents. She plans to study biomedical engineering at Purdue University. Alicia Berry, Alicia is the daughter of Michael and Karen Berry. She plans to attend college and major in illustration. Morgan Butterfield, Morgan and Jennifer Butterfield are Morgan's parents. She plans to study social work at IU College graduation. Madison Simonis. Madison's parents are John and Stacy Simonis. He plans to attend Purdue, MIT, or Rose Home to study chemical engineering. Evan Kohler, Madison Peter Kohler, or Evan's parents. He plans to study science communications at Ball State. Aaron Columbus, Aaron is the son of Annette and Mike Columbus. He wants to pursue a Bachelor of Nursing degree in early education. Brandon Dagley, Brandon's parents are Scott and Suzanne Dagley. He plans to attend Purdue to study civil engineering. Mackenzie Deshawn. Mackenzie is the daughter of Teresa and James Deshawn. She plans to major in psychology and Spanish with a music therapy minor in college. Matthew Edwards. Matthew is the son of Barbara and Jim Edwards. He plans to attend Purdue Emerson University to study chemistry. Sam Edwards. Sam's parents are Derek and Melissa Edwards. He plans to major in biology at IU and the University of Ohio. Jackson Fields. Jackson is the son of Samantha Alford. He plans to study aerospace engineering and participate in the pep band at Purdue University. Jared Fox. Jared's parents are Christine Perry Fox. He plans to competing in DCI and WGI and go to college for music education. Emily Geary. Emily is the daughter of Edward Taylor. She plans to major in English, Modern Spanish at Purdue University. Adam Heck. David and Debbie Heck are Adam's parents. She plans to study aerospace and computer engineering at Purdue. Luke P. Jamie P. Richard P. and Rita Ricker are Luke's parents. Luke plans to pursue a culinary degree at Lady Tech at Purdue. Jacob Liggett. Jacob's parents are Neil Liggett and Mark Liggett. He plans to major in finance and minor in music at Purdue University. Trevor Mattis. Trevor is the son of Karen Mattis and Wes Mattis. He plans to attend Ball State University and study telecommunications. Janet McMillan. James and Lisa McMillan are James' parents. After graduation, she plans to attend Purdue University. Jay Pittsburgh. Matt Pittsburgh and Casey Pittsburgh are Jake's parents. She plans to study pre-med at IU or Purdue. Zach Ritchie. Zach is the son of Carol and Mike Ritchie. Following high school graduation, he plans to attend college. Logan Springs. Logan is the son of Gavin and Haley Springs. He plans to join the workforce following high school graduation. Kaden Smith. Kaden is the daughter of Tony Smith and Gary Smith. She plans to continue her music career at Ball State with a major in music education and several education. Isabel Stanfield. Isabel is the daughter of Rebecca and Joette Stanfield. She plans to take a year off and go to college for music education. Cassidy Stonsley. Cassidy's parents are Chris Stonsley and Jessica Stonsley. She plans to study marine biology at Ball State University. Ashley Vincent. Ashley is the daughter of Rachel Vincent and Stephen Vincent. She plans to pursue a degree in social work at Purdue. Renee Batal. Think about all that stuff going on with the university. You didn't hear Rick Pitino get fired? Work code is based on leave. And the stories coming out now. Some conference true. How are you doing? He plans to study exercise science at the University of Southern Indiana. Logan Ward, Kevin Jody Ward are Logan's parents. He plans to attend college in Tennessee to study studio art and graphic design. Gabby Weinkoff. Gabby's parents are Mark and Julie Weinkoff. He plans to study nursing at Marian University. Lucas White. Lucas is son of Michelle Cross, Douglas White, and Matt Cross. He plans to attend Ball State or IU and major in music media production or music education. Jackson Wolf. Jackson's parents are Jerry and Julia. He plans to attend MIT or Purdue University to study chemical engineering and physics. Let's hear it for our seniors.
Welcome back to Hamilton County TV. Joey Cerrone and Ross DeLong here with you. Today is all about football. It's Friday Night Lights, but tomorrow make sure you tune in to Hamilton County TV for the boys sectional soccer championships. That's the number 3 sectional. That's HSE versus Muncie. Central coverage starts at 2 p.m. And then the girls soccer championship at HSE. That's going to be HSE versus Noblesville. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. And the girls soccer championship at Guerin. That's going to be Carmel versus Guerin at 7 p.m. So you can watch all those broadcasts tomorrow. So make sure you stay up to date on all sports IHSAA sectional matchups for both the soccers. Tonight's game, though, 7-6. Shamrocks up in this one. And Ross, we were talking during the break. We've really been noticing that the Tigers haven't been as aggressive in this game as we've seen from them even last year, even a couple of weeks ago. Seems like they're taking their foot off the gas pedal a little bit.
It really does seem like that. Usually with this Tiger team and Coach Wimmer, you see a lot of risks being taken, and really the only such risk that we saw in the first half was the decision to go for 2 early on with the touchdown, which eventually was they did not capitalize on that opportunity and ended up going down 6-7 at halftime. So Fisher's really needing to be a little more aggressive, I think, with their style of play on offense.
Looking forward to the sectionals for football. The Tigers facing off against HSE. Westfield facing off against Lafayette Jeff High School in the first round of the sectionals. Right now, HSE High School is down against Brebeuf 0-13 at the end of the half. So we'll keep you updated with that one, as HSE having a tough game so far tonight. Tigers and Shamrocks really having a tough game as well, getting some offense going. We'll see if they can do that going forward as both teams gear up to go back out there. I expect we'll see a shift in sort of position, the shift in mentality from both defenses. They both had a pretty good first half, but how can they get better? That's got to be the mentality. How can they improve upon that first half?
And Fishers is going to have to make improvements on both sides of the ball if they're going to want to stay atop the conference standings, sitting right now at 3-1 alongside Avon at the top. So Westfield also looking to make improvements on both sides of the ball in order to climb the standings and try and gain on those teams at the top.
Right now in conference, Westfield is 2-3, looking to go 500 with a win here tonight on their senior night. Go 500 for 2 years in a row. If they lose, they'll be 2-4 on the year in conference. Tigers really playing some defensive. They end the year every single year against Westfield and Zionsville. Really good opportunity at the end of the year to see where they are against other HCC opponents, and to add to that, really playing experience in one of the best conferences in Indiana for all sports. In volleyball, actually, in HCC, there are 4 of the top 10 in the state are from the HCC conference. In football, you saw Avon at number 2 dancing around up there up top in the state. So this HCC conference has slowly turned into one of the better conferences in high school sports.
Very impressive. A couple very impressive wins by Fishers within the conference this season. As we said, they're sitting at 3-1. They handed Avon a loss this year. As Joey, as you stated, Avon, one of the top teams in the state. Real impressive. Fishers, Avon coming to Fishers and eventually leaving with a defeat. So Fishers would like to capitalize on this game to stay atop those standings with Avon.
We'd like to take this moment to thank some of our great sponsors: Logan Street Signs and Banners, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Church, Hiddle and Antrim, Smith Jewelers, Indiana Restoration, Hamilton County Calendars.com, Westfield Chamber, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and Penske Chevrolet, as Ben Norton kicks this one away as a line drive all the way to the back of the end zone, bounces up, hits the crossbar, so that's going to be a touchback, 1st and 10 from the 20. First chance to see the adjustments both these teams made in the locker room and after the first half. Going to see who was more successful in their mid-game adjustments. Going to see who was able to make the right decisions, because at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to picking the right risks to take, and you're only going to know at the end of the game.
Tiger defense going to need to look at stopping the run right now, as Westfield is on top by 1 and gets the ball at the start of this second half.
Cam Nance in the modified I form. He's got Hauser behind him. can hand it off to him. He's got room to run. Great blocking, cutting it inside. Runs into his own blocker, falls forward past the 30.
That's exactly the type of plays that this Fishers defense does not want to let Westfield make. And unfortunately for the Fishers Tigers, the first play of the second half was a Westfield first down due to the rushing capabilities of quarterback Cam Nance.
Hauser gets brought up for a big loss. Daniel Amati able to get into the backfield, bring him down for a couple of yards loss. He was in there when the handoff was really being given. Great read from Amati as he was able to jump the snap. Not a lot you can do there as a running back when you have three guys in the backfield before you even get the ball. So good job from Hauser, able to keep control of it. Good awareness as he fell to the ground, bringing up 2nd and 12. Hauser's going to transition to the left of Nance out of the shotgun here. Tigers in a 4-3 formation, showing blitz with Santage. Nance is going to keep it himself. He gets tackled by the edge rusher and Jeffrey Brown. Picks up maybe a yard, maybe 2. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and long. Good test to see for both teams. If they can really hang in on a situation like this, can the Tigers make a pretty clutch stop? Or can this Westfield team get a pretty necessary 3rd down conversion, as we're going to see a new running back in tonight for the first time tonight. It's going to be Eli Patchett checking in and switching straight to a slot receiver position as there's a lone back in Nance. Nance back to pass. He tries to find man down the middle. That's going to be a pass interference call at the 40-yard line.
We talked at halftime about Fishers limiting their mistakes. A lot of penalties called in the first half on these Tigers, and that is not the type of thing you want to be doing this early in the second half, giving Westfield these opportunities.
Looked like there was just a little bit of contact on Pat Beam from Colin Shelton. So costly mistake. That's going to bring up a 1st down for the Shamrocks, as they were pinned back for a 3rd and 10. Would have been an incomplete pass, but now they're looking at a 1st down, new set of downs, and a new chance going forward to add some insurance to the board. Empty backfield set for Nance yet again. He's got 2 receivers to either side. He's going to keep it himself on the QB draw, breaking a couple tackles before Santage wraps him up, brings him down before the 50.
And this game so far has just been full of penalties, negating dominant performances by both sides. And so let's see if Westfield can respond to that and get a rhythm going on offense here after being given a good opportunity by a costly mistake by the Fishers defense.
Fishers D-line looking like they're trying to confuse the offensive line of the Shamrocks, trying to guess the snap count, get in front of it. Rush Nance in this empty backfield set. He's going to get it back to pass. Short pass over on the far side. That one off the hands of Santage. He read the route, jumped in front of it. Couldn't make the interception, but is able to force an incompletion. Santage is one of those rare linebackers that just adds you so much coverage. A lot of times you'll see a mismatch when the linebacker's guarding a wide receiver, but with Seth Santage, he's able to make those big-time plays for you. Seen a great effort up front from Cam Field and Daniel Amati as well from this Tiger defensive line, as they're going to go back into that switch up on defense, trying to confuse the offensive line. Empty quarterback set. 3 receivers in trips formation to the left. Nance is going to pass over there. That's where he's looking. He's forced out of the pocket, breaks a tackle. He's on the run here. Good blocking upfield. He's able to get right in front of the 1st down marker. Looked like he was going to be sacked for a loss, but it was able to shrug off the tackle. This is going to be a 4th and short. Colin Shelton was able to push him out of bounds just a yard shy of the 1st down, but Shamrocks are going to go for it here. First gutsy move of the half. They got trips to the left. Look for Nance to maybe call a QB keeper, keep it himself, go up the middle. Tigers have to be aware in this 4th and very short. He's going to go right under center, going to push the box forward. He's trying to find his way to the outside edge, diving forward. Is he going to get it? This is going to be very close, ladies and gentlemen. Looked like he was trying to turn his body forward, but right into the arms of Seth Sontich as he wrapped him up in a bear hug. Pushed him back. Let's see where they mark him. He's going to be shy of the first down where they got him, so the Tigers defense able to make the stand on 4th and short. They're going to get the ball back after forcing a turnover.
You know, Joey, Seth Sontich has been such the presence on defense tonight for the Tigers, making constant play after play. And that just shows the example of the type of leadership that he shows for this Tiger defense, not letting Westfield convert on that 4th and short.
He comes into this with 66 tackles, almost had an interception on that drive, and a big-time stop to prevent the Shamrocks from getting the first down and continuing on the offensive drive. Going to bring out the Fishers offense on the 46, their best starting field position so far tonight. Play action pass, looking downfield. Wolf slings this one over to Will Cyrus. He's wide open on the far side, makes the grab. He is ripped forward all the way to the 6-yard line. First play of the game, Tigers go for it. First play of the half, Will Cyrus open.
And there you go. That is an example of the risks that this Fishers Tigers team takes, and that one just paid off tremendously for them early in this second half.
Will Cyrus with quite the route there. He just ran a streak and went right by his defender. Wolf placed it perfectly. Was able to find the cradle there. That's going to bring up a first and goal from the 7-yard line. Tigers down by just a single point. In the I form now with Dunnick at fullback. Going to hand this one off to Lewis. Lewis cutting up field. He's able to get to the 4-yard line. Tackled by Griffin Letfeld. He was able to prevent him from going upfield, getting into the end zone. And Lewis with some of those quick moves. Oftentimes you'll see him catch a lot of defenders off guard. A good job of staying in his zone there from Lickfeld. Tigers will get it now in the I form. 2nd and goal from the 4. Wolf under center. Lewis is back. Wolf is going to push it forward, see if he can sneak it in himself. He's going to get to about the 2-yard line before he is pushed back. Shamrocks pushing him way after the whistle was called. Kobe Hauser getting a little excited there, bringing him down for a big tackle, but not before Wolf was going to be able to secure a couple of yards on the QB keeper. Set him up for a 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. If they go for that QB sneak again, watch for him to slip his way through. He's gotten 3 rushing touchdowns on the year, trying to find 4. It's going to be a timeout. They're going to bump the play call up. Play clock up to 25. Give the Tigers some more time as they did run down all the way to 8 seconds. Forcing them to panic a little bit. Tigers loading the box. Shamrocks matching them. Wolf under center. Hands this one off. Play action pass. Going over to G with it. Finds a man wide open in the middle of the end zone. Great pass from Matt Wolf. That's going to be a 2nd passing touchdown of the year. That's Jack Free making his first catch of the year, and it's going to be a touchdown. Touchdown for the Tigers. That's going to be a sideline warning for the Shamrocks. We're going to take another look at that. And you can tell everyone on this Westfield team expecting a run. Wolf able to sell the bootleg, give himself some room, found Free wide open in the middle. Free doing a good job of laying on it, making the grab, and making his first completed catch of the year. And it's a touchdown coming at a pretty big time. It's going to be the official sideline warning called against Westfield, as they were getting a little bit rowdy there on that last play. Tigers now have their offense on the field. Weren't able to complete the first 2-point conversion of the game. Going to see if they can get it now. 12-7 the score. Going to see if they can put themselves up by 7 here. Wolf, the lone man in the backfield. jumps over the line, finds Bryce G. That's going to be a 2-point conversion. And doing that little hot pass that has become so favorable inside that 10-yard area, able to jump over the line, find G.
After some great coverage in the first half by the Westfield defense on the first attempt at a Fishers 2-point conversion.
Now the Tigers up 14-7. They forced the turnover on downs. Now they got the touchdown with it. Let's take a look at the play that set it all up. That pass to Cyrus on the first play of the drive. Able to find him all the way down to the 7-yard line. Beautiful throw from Wolf. Able to catch Cyrus in stride before he was ripped down to the 7-yard line. So Norton's going to kick this one away. 7:06 on the clock in the third quarter. Tigers able to find some offense there through the air. Got the touchdown on the pass. Second passing touchdown of the game for Matt Wolf. As the Shamrocks are going to see if they can answer this one back. Tripped up at the 20-yard line. Good tackle from Jeffrey Brown. That was Meyer trying to find some space downfield before he was brought down. Tripped up.
That was not as much coverage by the Westfield defense on that one.
And you can see he just jumps over that line, clears all the defensive linemen, able to find G in the back of the end zone pretty harshly.
And this Shamrock offense is really going to need to come out here firing on all cylinders because the momentum has swung in the direction of the Fishers Tigers for the first time since the first half, really. So they're going to need to find their rhythm, keep utilizing that rushing game to beat down this Fishers Tigers defense.
And it looks like Cam Nance is subbed out of the game. We'll see Camden Simmons making his debut. Gets that one over the middle. Able to make the grab. That's Kyle Papio with the catch.
We talked about Papio getting more involved in the second half. And as we saw there, Simmons comes in his very first snap, does just that. And Papio gains a few yards.
They're going to bring out the chain game here, see if they get the first down or not. Simmons comes into this with only around 20 passes on the year. So really being inserted into this senior night pretty unexpectedly, I think, to himself, because he has a senior quarterback in front of him in Cameron Nance. Now Cam Simmons comes honking to see what he can do downfield. His team's down by a score. Looks like Cam Nance is on the sideline being evaluated by a trainer. Keep you updated the more we hear on that. Simmons keeps it himself, barreling down the middle, picks up a couple of yards. We see Trevor Lickfeld into the game for the first time tonight at running back. So 2 subs in. See if they can make a difference in this game. They're down by a score. See if they can get some offense going.
With a couple backups in for the Westfield offense, the Fishers defense could really have some opportunities here to capitalize and stop the Shamrocks. But so far, it has looked like the exact opposite. Good composure by the backup quarterback Simmons.
Not really missing a beat, going with the same formations, going with the same plays. As Simmons out of the shotgun, he's got Lickfeld to his right. He's going to be back to pass. Going deep with this one. Downfield, Pat Beam bobbles it. Can't quite make the grab. Ends up incomplete. Good coverage from Colin Shelton downfield. Eli Jennings, he was able to force that incompletion. Excuse me, that was Jason Lassick downfield getting some of his first snaps as a varsity player with a great defensive effort, forcing it out of bounds. Simmons out of the shotgun now in that modified I form that this Westfield team favors so much. About 5 seconds on the play clock. They're going to need to get something going here. And that's going to be a delay of game. So that's going to move them back 5 yards. Not keeping their eye on the clock, not keeping awareness. So instead of a 3rd and 7, this will bring up a 3rd and 12.
Shows a little bit of inexperience maybe by the guy under center, letting the clock run down like that.
And it's so tough being inserted into this offense, really just being expected to shine. You're down by a score. You have a lot of pressure on you. Everyone's looking at you, all the seniors, to try and make a good performance for their senior night. And it can be very tough to keep track of all this. Now you're down to a 3rd and 12. You can see him drying his hands as he goes back to pass this one over the middle. Wide open receiver. Pettijohn breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle. He's loose across the 40-yard line. Takes 3 Tigers to bring him down.
That is a huge play for the Shamrock offense there. With the backup quarterback really, as I said, showing composure, coming in with all those expectations put on his shoulders, as you talked about, especially after the starter, Cam Nance, the senior, on senior night having such a great game so far. But Simmons has really done a marvelous job.
Able to trust his receiver in Pettijohn as he went downfield. Brought him all the way to the 39, so a quick rush from Lickfeld. Get maybe a yard. Bring up a 2nd and 9 with 5:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. Simmons out of the shotgun. He's going to play action this one, going downfield with it, looking for a receiver on the sideline. Is going to be able to make the grab. Yes, gets a couple of feet in. That's going to be Papio making the grab on the far sideline.
And we're seeing Simmons actually pick this Westfield passing offense up a lot more than Nance was able to, which I think is interesting. Papio getting a lot more involved now that the backup has subbed into the game.
So Cam Simmons in that modified I form for the first down. It's going to be 1st and 10 as plenty of movement there. Papio was across the line. That's going to be a false start. They were trying to work the snap count, ended up working against them, so that's going to bring up 1st and 15 from the 34.
With as good of a drive as Westfield has put together just now, they cannot let that penalty faze them as they near the red zone.
Looks like Nance has his helmet back on the sideline. Could be looking at him coming back in here after this drive. But Simmons has done a really admirable job in really keeping up the pressure against this Tiger defense. He's done a good job looking downfield with these passes, trusting his receivers. As Hauser's going to be his running back. He's going to get the read here, brought down for maybe a yard on that one. Cam Field, Jeffrey Brown getting in on the tackle for Fishers. So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 15. We haven't seen anything out of Alex Bales, the junior kicker from Westfield, because every time they get into this area, every time they're nearing the red zone, it's either been a turnover or a touchdown. So look for him to maybe make his way out if they can keep this field position. If they can't get into the end zone. Great job from Pat Beam as he tried to make his way forward. Ended up losing a couple of yards as he went backwards with a juke. Was tackled at around the original line of scrimmage. That'll be a 3rd and 10 from the 30-yard line.
If Fishers can keep Westfield from putting up 6 points on this drive, that is going to mean huge things for the outcome of this game potentially for the Tigers.
Simmons in the shotgun. Hauser 5 yards behind. Back to pass. He's going to go to the safety valve on this quick little wheel route. Hauser gets tripped up, brought down by his legs. Doesn't even pick up a yard there. Tigers were all over that one. So we'll see Alex Bales make his way out to the field to kick his first field goal of the night. This one's going to be a 47-yarder, so no chip shot.
That's a great job by the Tiger defense, keeping the Westfield Shamrocks offense out of the end zone on this drive after some great passes. The Tigers really adjusted nicely.
Bales gets all of this one. It's going to end up right down the uprights. Beautiful kick from Alex Bales. That's going to make this one 14-10. The Shamrocks were able to get some points on the board after that one. Their first in this half. I love that drive from Camden Simmons, though, the quarterback for this team, as we'll take another look at that field goal, able to split the uprights. But he came in, was really rushed in, not a lot of time to prepare as Nance was injured for that last drive. Looks like he may have been cleared for play going forward, but Simmons did a good job of keeping this one alive. So now the Tigers will get this one back. They're up by 4, looking to extend that lead, add some insurance to it. They'd love to go up by another touchdown. That last drive, they took some risks. That's something we talked about at halftime. We hadn't seen them take a lot of risks, but immediately out of the gates, they went to Will Cyrus for a quick 40-yard reception. So look for them to go back to that risk-taking. It worked out so well in that last drive.
And on top of that risky pass to Cyrus, the successful 2-point conversion that was able to put Fishers back on top by 7. Now that lead is only 4, so they will need to capitalize on this drive here if they're going to want to remain ahead of Westfield as we draw closer to the fourth quarter.
That one's going to end up past the goal line, so this will be a touchback for Fishers. 1st and 10 from the 20. Matt Wolf doing a good job on that last drive, going back to his roots, finding his receivers downfield. He went to a couple of favorites of his, Will Cyrus, Bryce G, to end this one. He was able to find Jack Free, a new guy, for his first career touchdown with the Tigers. So now Fishers going to see if they can build off that, capitalize on the momentum that's slowly been shifting to them in this half, add to it. Wolf is going to start off under center. He's got Lewis as his running back. Westfield showing a bit of his zone blitz. Lewis hesitates a little bit, trying to find the hole. Only picks up about a yard there as that defense doing a good job of collapsing up front. That's Griffin Lickfeld and Michael Delaney making the tackle. Looks like H.L. Lewis is still on the ground there after he suffered a pretty tough hit. And it looks like he's favoring that right leg. Went down pretty hard on it as he had a couple of big D linemen falling on him.
And if Lewis does not come back, this could be a very detrimental loss for the Tigers offense, as he is one very important cog in this offensive machine.
He's really been the engine that's been driving it so far, because he's given them that option to go downfield with it. Because obviously if you're Westfield, you have to defend every single scenario. And with a great running back in Lewis, he only made that tougher for him. He'd been having himself quite the last couple of weeks, as he's gotten his first career starts as a varsity player. Looks like he's going to be able to get to a seated position. Hopefully not too serious for the young junior running back. He's able to get off the field under his own power, but that's going to be tough loss for the Tigers, as they'll have Dylan Scally out there replacing Lewis. So now the Tigers will go back out here after that injury break. Lewis was injured on the ground. Now they'll have to see if they can work without him. 2nd and 10 from the 20. Wolf out of the shotgun, back to pass. Look for them to shift to more of a passing offense. Stotts makes the grab, off to the races. He's up the sideline before he's pushed out of bounds and around the 40-yard line.
great connection between Wolf and Stotts, and that's the type of thing that the Fishers Tigers are going to need to see from their offense going forward without Lewis.
And those little short routes can obviously create some big yard situations, as we saw there. Stotts made the catch it around about a couple of yards in front of the line of scrimmage, but was able to come in, get the first down. So 1st and 10 from the 38. Tigers out of the I form. Play action pass. Wolf rolling out, fakes the pass, steps back inside. He's wrapped up, breaks the tackle, and he's tripped up right in front of that 40-yard line. Great run from Wolf as everyone was covered downfield, made the decision, the executive decision to switch it back up, go up front.
You know, he really is a terrific scrambler. He has a unique ability to break tackles. He's a big guy, and I think that helps his ability to be both a good passer and a good scrambling quarterback for this Fishers offense.
He's going to be under center here with Scally as his back. He's going to hand it off to Scally. Scally with room to run, breaks through the defensive line. He picks up a great amount of yardage there all the way past the 50-yard line, and just really a quick speed run from Dylan Scally.
Really just sprinting up the middle. I think Scally knows that he has big shoes to fill with Lewis down, and he's meeting that challenge so far on this drive.
Great blocking up front provided him just the space he needed to pick up the first down all the way down to the 46-yard line. Wolf under center. He's got a man in motion. Loading it to the right. It's going to be a play-action pass. Wolf back to pass here, going deep to Colin Stotts. Down the middle. Stotts makes the superhuman diving grab.
That was an incredible grab by Stotts, and that right there is the dynamic, risk-taking ability of this Fishers Tigers offense.
They went for the play-action. I don't think I've seen a catch like that in a very long time in high school football. We're going to have to take another look. Colin Stotts laying out, making the grab. Maybe he was overthrown by a couple of yards, able to make up for it, and just an incredible, awe-inspiring catch. Able to catch it, bringing his team 1st and goal on the 9-yard line.
You know, leading this team in yardage as a junior, and he has a great speed and just such a natural ability to make that kind of catches.
Scally able to pick up a couple of yards on that goal line run. Clock nearing around 55 seconds in this third quarter. 2nd and goal, 6-yard line. But this Tiger passing offense, they've really been able to flip the switch from that first half. We're seeing a lot more risks being taken. That was a great throw from Matt Wolf over to Colin Stotts. Stotts making the incredible effort to secure the catch. So now the Tigers are going to be under center here. Wolf is going to call a couple guys in motion. We'll see a timeout from the Tigers. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. Don't you dare go anywhere. Tigers 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line. Welcome back to Hamilton County TV. Joey Cerrone and Ross along here with you. And we wanted to take this moment to thank you, the viewers, for tuning into this game. It's really turning out to be quite the exciting one, but couldn't happen without you guys. Tigers now 2nd and goal from the 7. Wolf is going to have it under center. They like to run the play-action pass. We've seen it a couple times from this situation. Let's see if that's what they're going to do. They got Stotts in motion. Play action pass, there it is, over to Dunnick. Dunnick wide open near the goal line. He's going to just waltz in untouched. Touchdown Tigers, third passing touchdown of the game, and Isaiah Dunnick somehow, with his 6'4" frame, flies under the radar.
It was a beautiful play action by Matt Wolf, and that is the first time we've really seen Dunnick get involved tonight, but he is a huge red zone threat, and that is his first touchdown on the night.
And that's going to be number 4 on the year, as you see Wolf really selling that. And then Dunnick sliding out after holding the block for a couple of seconds, able to get into the end zone. Tigers up 20-10 as Norton's going to come on to tack on the extra point. Finds his way through the uprights. Tigers up by a couple of scores, 21-10 the score. That was set up by the incredible grab from Colin Stotts off a great throw from Matt Wolf. Put him in a position to succeed. So now Fisher's up by a couple of scores, and the Shamrocks really just, they're going to be forced to recover here as they're down by a couple. This is really going to be a good test for this offense to see if they can come back, keep their head in the game, stay focused, stay grounded.
And if you're the Shamrocks, you've got to be thinking about ways that you can get the ball downfield quickly. There's only a quarter of play left, along with 19.3 seconds left in the third, and it is now a 2-possession game as Fishers had a huge third quarter after trailing by 1 point at halftime.
And let's see if Cam Simons or Cam Nance comes out here after this kickoff. Simons did a good job of keeping his team flowing, really didn't miss a beat when Nance went out. They were only able to put 3 points on the board, though. They'll be looking for a touchdown on this drive as Norton's going to kick it away. He's got Pettijohn and Meyer awaiting this one. Boots this one downfield. High-powered kick, no chance of a return. That bounces up and through the uprights. That's the type of power you get when you got a leg like Ben Norton. So that's a touchback, 1st and 10. For the Westfield Shamrocks, they got Kyle Papio, who's had himself quite the game. Really great athlete out of the wide receiver position. Look for him to get more involved as Simons is going to be going back out there at quarterback. And what we're going to see now is him slowly building up a trust with these wide receivers. He hasn't played a lot of snaps with him, and that's what is really so important as a quarterback with your receivers, knowing where they're going to be, trusting they'll be in the right position. Simons out of the shotgun. He's got Hauser to his left. Pettijohn and Beam to his right. Papio to his left. They're going to call a timeout here, the Shamrocks, as they're going to get reconnected here, keep themselves in check. That's going to be their first timeout of the half. But Ross, what I'm really expecting out of this Westfield team, them going back to that really short pass offense that had them marching down the field in that last drive.
I would agree with you, Joey, because as we saw, Simons has actually been getting Papio more involved than Nance was. Like I said earlier, I think Papio has more receptions with Simons just from that last drive than he did in about 2.5 quarters catching passes from Nance. So if Westfield can get Papio involved a little more and Simons can keep that kind of composure that he showed on that last Westfield drive, then Westfield can march the ball down there and get this thing within 1 possession.
With around 20 seconds left in this third quarter, this could be the last play of the quarter. Out of the I form now, out of the shotgun. This one's going to be handed off to Hauser. Hauser brought down by a couple of Tigers. Good job from Camfield as he made the first contact, bring him down. He was joined by a couple of different defenders for Fishers as they've done a good job of really doing those good host tackles. Daniel Amati in there to strike the final blow. So with that, that's going to end the third quarter. And Ross, going forward, Shamrocks have the ball starting the fourth, 2nd and 11 from the 19. Their last drive, they were able to drive down the field, get a field goal, but now they got to be pushing for a touchdown. I expect them to take some more risks here in this drive.
I would definitely agree with that as well, Joey. Hauser, the running back, had a quiet third quarter after a great first half. So I would think that in order to keep him from getting even more fatigued, like we said a minute ago, they're going to need to lean more on the passing game in the fourth quarter, keep those short passes going, get Papio involved, pick up first downs, and hopefully rest up Hauser so that he can maintain some of that explosiveness that he showed in the first half in order to get back ahead, because the Shamrocks are currently down 11 points, need 2 touchdowns in order to regain the lead and win this game. So, yeah, hopefully for the Shamrocks, we'll be seeing some adjustments on offense this fourth quarter.
You know, they're really going to need to score as fast as possible at this point in time. You need to put points on the board as quickly as you can. Down by a couple of scores starting this fourth quarter. The Tigers' offense has done a great job at chewing up the clock. So this Westfield team needs to be on their toes with it. Can't waste opportunities. This one's going to be play action pass going downfield. Simons with a big-time throw. Jason Lassick in on the coverage. They're going to flag him for that one. Trying to find Beam downfield. That's going to be a big pass interference call against the Tigers.
And that could have been a huge play for Westfield if not for that pass interference by Fishers. But they do end up picking up some yardage due to the penalty.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down. So from a 2nd and 11 to a 1st and 10, this Westfield team getting really a free pass on that one. Simons had a good throw. Fisher's coming away with 15 yards instead of 40. So really on this play, both teams the winners, but I think the Shamrocks the winners in the long run. Out of the shotgun now, that's Simons. He's going to hand this one off, keep it himself. He's going up the middle of the field, able to pick up a first down. That's something we haven't seen from Simons, something we saw from Nance. Really ability to run the option play and keep the Tigers guessing. Didn't think he had it in his game, but able to show that he has it in his repertoire.
I was thinking the same thing, Joey. As soon as I saw him take off, I was like, wait a minute. Is Nance back in? But
they're going to go right
Simons
back to
again showing that he has Nance's dynamic capabilities to run the ball as well.
Davis able to bring him down for about a yard gain. So 2nd and 8 for the Shamrocks. Looking forward, next week Westfield has Brebeuf Jesuit Preparatory School at Brebeuf. So they'll end their season away at Brebeuf. Brebeuf in this one at the half, they were beating a strong HSE team 13-0. So that could be a tough challenge. Going far side to the 50, Beam able to make the grab. Brought down almost as soon as he caught it by Jason Lassick. Of course, for Fishers going forward, they have their senior night next week against Zionsville. Zionsville, always a tough challenge, always a good team going into it. So Fishers, even in this game, you got to be looking forward. You got to be preparing, because last year they had their first sub-500 season of their since Fishers was restarted. Actually, that was their first sub-500 season. This year they're trying to avoid that. Right now they're up by a couple of scores, but Simons has been driving very well, showing some composure, staying in the pocket, not able to make the completion. That's going to bring up a 4th and 5, but how about Simons staying in there with all the defensive linemen in front of him? They're going to stay out there. This offense really putting it all on the line as they're taking a big risk, but you can't win without taking some risks. They're down by a couple of scores. Really, this is the only option they have.
When we talk about risk-taking, Fishers is the team that has been taking the risks all through the half, and that is the reason that they're currently up 21-10.
First down or bust on this throw. Pat Beam makes the catch around the middle. Beautiful throw from Cam Simons. He picks up the first down, and with it, a whole lot of confidence.
I've just honestly been so impressed with Cam Simons ever since he stepped in for Cam Nance. Almost every single throw that he's made has shown a lot of composure.
And Cam Field in there for the big tackle for loss. He read that one on the option. Saw Hauser run past him and just waited in his base, bringing him down for a 5-yard loss. Let's take a quick look at a score around the state in the HCC. Brownsburg up against Noblesville 41-10. So the Milliners were able to hang on in that first half, but Brownsburg able to pull away. Going to be an official timeout. They're going to regroup here. Got everything under control. So they're going to bring up a 2nd and 15, clock's running with around 9:45 left to go. Simons back to pass. He steps up in the pocket, brought down again for a tackle for loss. This Tiger defensive line working overtime. That's going to be a good sack from Luke Thomas.
I was talking about the composure that Simons has been showing, and that is true, but that composure does not mean a thing if this offensive line cannot hold up and protect him, because that's 2 sacks on Simons in a row. So this brings up 3rd and long, and it's not looking good for this Westfield Shamrocks offense right now.
This is a very tough situation for any quarterback, much less a young sophomore quarterback. He's going to get sacked here. Ball is loose, still loose in the air. Emmanuel Davis picks it up. He forced the fumble, cleaned it up. He's all the way to the 30-yard line. 3 sacks in a row, Ross, and the last one broke the Donkeys' back.
And that is just a huge mistake by the backup quarterback, showing that he is, in fact, human after some great completions this half, stepping in for Cam Nance. Simons ultimately creating yet another turnover for the Westfield Shamrocks.
We'll take another look at that one as we saw the great sack from Davis. Davis was able to split through a huge hole in that offensive line. Came in, rocked Simons' world, picked up the ball, and really got all the way down to the 31-yard line. Good job from this Shamrock team, able to stop the bleeding, bringing him down, but a great forced fumble. That's the 2nd fumble of this game. Tigers forcing 3 turnovers. Play action pass, Wolf back to throw here. He gets rocked, breaks the tackle, somehow still on his feet. He gets taken down, helicoptered down at the 40-yard line, and just a tough exchange for the young guy.
And that Westfield defense, that is a huge response to that previous drive, showing that they will not let Fishers be the best defense on the field right now, pressuring the quarterback, much like the Tigers did on that previous drive.
That brings him down for a loss of 10, so a 2nd and 20 from the 41 as Wolf was rocked there. Able to shed the first couple tackles, but eventually the entire defensive line was chasing him down. It looks like H.L. Lewis back in this game for the Tigers. Wolf back to pass. He's going to go across the middle. Will Cyrus picks it up. He's still driving his guy forward across the 30-yard line. So past the original line of scrimmage, this is going to bring up a 3rd and medium. Within field goal range now for Ben Norton, the place kicker for the Tigers. All they really have to do is just keep it going, add some insurance. They're up by a couple of scores. Wouldn't hurt to get 3 more on the board.
And if they can get 3 more on the board, that puts them up by 2 touchdowns, meaning that if Westfield does manage to score 2 more touchdowns, it would only tie the game.
Pump fake. Will Cyrus making the jumping grab past the 20-yard line. That's going to be a 1st down. A beautiful athletic catch from Will Cyrus off of a good read from Matt Wolf. He went through his progressions, didn't like what he saw. Pump fake, got a receiver open, and found Cyrus across the middle.
Cyrus has been having a terrific night tonight with a few key receptions in this game. One of them being that one that will bring them out of a 3rd and 9 situation and turn what could have been just a field goal into a potential touchdown.
And a touchdown would be very tough to suffer if you're Westfield. They fought back on that offensive drive. They had a pretty good offensive drive until that last couple of series. Lewis is going to get it. He finds his way forward after splitting a couple of defenders. All that work picks up about a yard. But the Shamrocks battled back on that last offensive drive. Tigers defense was just playing some pretty staunch defense. And now on offense, they're marching. Got to be pretty tough for this Westfield team. Wolf is going to be in the shotgun here. Timeout called by the Tigers. And with that, we're going to take an opportunity to take a break. 2nd and 9 from the 17. The Tigers are marching. Welcome back to Hamilton County TV. Wolf shuffle pass over to Lewis. Dangerous pass in a dangerous area, but Lewis able to make the grab. He's brought down for no yards. But that could have been a lot worse. So the Tigers now 3rd and 9. Westfield able to make a good defensive stance on the past couple of plays. Going to see if they can keep it up here. Force the Tigers to take a field goal. 3rd and 9 from the 17. They're going to be in the shotgun now with Lewis to the right. Couple receivers to the right, one to the left. Low snap. Wolfpack to pass, going into the middle. Colin Stotts makes the catch. He's stood up, thrown down at around the 10-yard line. They say the ball is loose, recovered by the Shamrocks. The defense was able to pop it out. Let's see what the official ruling is.
If this does end up going in the way of the Shamrocks, this is huge, as they get an opportunity within the last 5 minutes to score, as Fishers was about to tack some more points up on the board.
Looks like they're going to keep possession, but at a cost. Colin Stotts, the receiver on that one. He's still down. This is the second injury we've seen from a couple of highlight players for Fishers. First one was Lewis. Lewis back in the game, but Stotts still down on the ground on this one.
Arguably the two most important players in this offense. And it would be very detrimental to see Stotts go down right now, this late in the game and the season, with Fishers looking ahead to the game against Zionsville next week, and after that, sectionals.
And it looks like a little bit of discomfort in that lower body region. They're able to get him sitting, and now he's up. Going to see if he can get off the field under his own power. He's able to walk off the field. Doesn't look like it's too bad of an injury, but that'll take him out for the next couple of plays at least.
He does seem to be walking just fine. And man, you talk about Colin Stotts, what a guy, such a key player for this team, and just making the most beautiful catch I have seen in a long time in high school football earlier in the second half.
And really speaks volumes to his character as he was walking off the field, not really paying attention to his own discomfort. He was even pumping up the crowd as he was walking off the field. It's a really good job of just staying in the game, keeping his mindset in the right place. So Stotts is actually the field goal holder for Fishers. He's the guy that helps Norton out with making the hold. So we'll see Matt Wolf, the quarterback, in to hold this one. Ben Norton going to kick this one away. Going to see if he can put his Tigers up by a couple of touchdowns. High snap. Norton able to chip this one in. That's going to split the uprights. The 29-yarder gets through. Tigers up 24-10.
Down by 2 scores now. The Westfield Shamrocks will get the ball back, but there are only 5 minutes remaining in the game, so they're going to need to score fast.
Let's take a look at that field goal one more time. Norton, one of the most highly touted kickers in the state, one of the most highly touted guys in the state. He's a 4.5-star recruit as he puts that one in pretty easily. He's gotten looks from a lot of D1 programs. He's done a ton of college visits, and he's really showing why. He's 2 for 2 on the day. So now he's going to come out here, kick it away for the kickoff. 5:01 left on the clock. If the Shamrocks want to get back in this game, if they want to win it on senior night, they need to score almost immediately, go for the onside kick, try and force a turnover, get the ball right back. This one is a low kick right into the hands of Meyer. Meyer catches that one, really just steaming off his hands. He's going to push forward, wrapped up, brought down in front of the 30.
The Shamrock offense will come back onto the field with 4:55 remaining in the game. We'll get the ball at their own 29-yard line.
So now we're going to see Cam Nance back in the game. Going to see if he can right the ship, if you will, with 4:55 left in this game. Simons had a really good effort, and then just suffered a pretty costly fumble after suffering 3 straight sacks. Cam Field getting in there, bringing Nance down, and make that 4 straight sacks. And this offensive line started off this game so effective, so powerful, but as we've seen it go forward in this fourth quarter especially, 4 sacks in a row is almost unheard of. Man in motion. That's Pettijohn. Nance back to pass. He's got time to throw. This one almost intercepted, through into coverage. Dangerous pass. That's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
And you know, on those 4 straight sacks earlier, a huge contributor was Cam Field coming off the edge for the Fishers Tigers. You talk about Cam Simons and Cam Nance both making very big impacts for Westfield offense, but ultimately on those last few plays, the Cam that was prevailing was Field.
Cam Nance in an empty back set. He's going to get sacked again. Ball is loose one more time. Tigers recover it. It looks like that was Daniel Amati forcing the fumble, and it looks like he fell on it. They're going to give it right back to Fishers.
And this could just seal the deal for the Fishers Tigers with 4 minutes remaining in the game, up 2 scores. You get the ball back around the opponent's 20-yard line. Let's take a look at that fumble.
Nick Douglas able to dive on it after Amati forced it. And that's 5 sacks in the last 2 drives, 2 of which resulting in fumbles, and just a big-time hit. Not a lot you can do to get away from that. So this Fishers defense has really stepped up in this one. They've caused 4 turnovers on the day. Really coming into this, that was one of the biggest questions we had for the Tigers. Could their defense make this stance? And they proved everyone wrong. They've done a great job of staying in it.
Shows very good things late in the season for this Fishers Tigers team. As I talked about earlier, heading into the match with Zionsville next week, and then sectionals the week after that. So this Tiger defense really stepping up when it counts in the season.
Fishers takes a timeout, their final of the half. We're going to take this opportunity to thank some of our sponsors: Logan Street Signs and Banners, Noblesville Trophies, Community Health, Church, Hiddle and Antrim, Smith Jewelers, Indiana Restoration, Hamilton County Calendars.com, Westfield Chamber, Bill Clifford for Sheriff, and Penske Chevrolet. And, of course, we always want to thank you, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's turned out to be quite the game. Tigers up 24-10, and they have the ball at the 21-yard line. 2 fumbles forced in a row. This is what the Fishers team did against Avon. They forced 3 fumbles in the second half alone in that Avon game. And really, this defense shows they can step it up when they need to, especially against conference rivals. Scally gets it, trying to find the outside edge, shut off by a couple of defenders. That one really headed off by Cam Fry. And another timeout here called, this time by Westfield. They used their second of the half. So with 1 timeout left, Ross, do you play this conservative if you're Fishers, or do you just try to run the score up as much as possible, give yourself insurance? Offense is the best defense.
I think right now, if you're Fishers, you want to try and run the clock down. There's only 4 minutes left in the game. You run the clock down and still end up scoring, puts you up 31-10. There's really just about nothing that Westfield can do to come back if they get the ball with about 2 minutes left, down 3 scores. Fishers can really, really seal the deal right here if they can cut some time off the clock while also trying to put the ball in the end zone for a 4th time tonight.
And, you know, coming into this first half, the Tigers' defense was playing completely electric defense along with this Westfield team. It was really a battle of the defenses so far in that first half. 7-6 the score. And then we saw Fishers sort of taking off on offense, taking risks, going downfield with some passes. And that's when it really split this wide open. And the Tiger defense has stayed strong. They've kept up against this ground and pound and really just held their own against a pretty strong Westfield team, 4-3 on the year.
A big thing we talked about at halftime was fatigue, mostly in terms of Kobe Hauser. but it seems the entire Westfield defense has been fatigued, although did not look like it on that play as they stuffed the Fishers ball carrier.
And that was Scally on the run there, but the entire defense was chasing after him. He looked in his rear view mirror and saw Griffin Lechfeld looking back at him. Lechfeld made the tackle for a loss of 1. So Fishers has it 3rd and 11 on the 22-yard line when we return.
Third down.
Welcome back to Hamilton County TV. Joey Cerrone Rost along here with you. Tigers have it 3rd and 11 on the 22. Wolf under center, hands it off to Scally. Scally with a good little zigzag before he is thrown down backwards. Maybe a yard gain. So that's going to be a 4th and 9, well within the range of Ben Norton from the 20-yard line.
Talked about Fishers trying to run down the clock, move the ball as slowly as they can, and trying to put 7 more on the board. But it seems like they haven't really done either of those. The clock ticking down right now past 3:30.
And you know, it's tough to be conservative from inside the red zone because that's what Westfield was expecting. They were able to put up a good defensive front against the run game. And really, if you're Fishers, you don't want to risk a pass getting intercepted, getting tipped. Both sides pointing fingers at each other. And every single time you see a flag thrown before the play, it's so entertaining to see both teams just immediately up in their haunches pointing at the other side. This one's going to be called against Fishers' false start. So moves the ball back a little bit more. This is going to be a little bit further back for Norton. He's going to try and pin this one in. Going to be a 42-yarder. Puts it through the uprights. He's 3 for 3 on the day.
You know, Joey, Norton's leg is money for this Fishers Tigers team. That penalty that caused his kick attempt to be bumped back 5 yards wasn't phased at all. Went straight through the uprights. Let's take a look at that kick.
42-yarder. Obviously, that's no easy task, but he makes it look very easy, keeping his composure, putting it through. He hasn't missed a field goal since week 2, so he's done a fantastic job at doing everything this Tiger team expects out of him. And a 4.5-star recruit. A lot of expectations. Tonight, he's punting for the first time in his senior year, and he's done a great job with both place kicking and punting. His team's up by 3 scores. .303 left in the game. Norton to kick it away to Pettijohn. And Meyer awaiting this one. And I don't think they're going to risk a return. That one goes almost through the uprights. That's going to be a touchback 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Shamrocks have 3:03 to try and get 3 scores. It's possible, but if they are going to do it, they need at least an 80-yard touchdown straight out of the gates. Cam Nance at the helm for his senior night. Going to see if he can put his team right back on the right path as this week. They got Fishers next week. They have an out-of-conference game against Brebeuf. And really, the trend we've seen from this Westfield team, they've done a lot better out-of-conference than in-conference. We've talked about how tough this HCC conference is all year. And it really just is a tough conference to succeed in. Good pass over the middle. Still going. That's Kyle Papio across the 40. That's going to pick up 20 yards.
You were talking about how interesting it is that Westfield has had a lot more success outside of the HCC. What is even more interesting than that probably is the fact that Fishers has not won a game outside of the HCC, but sit atop the conference standings. And tonight it's looking like they're going to improve their conference record to a very, very strong 4-1.
There's an injured Tiger down on the field for Fishers on that defensive line. But Fishers looking forward. 2 of those losses have come against North Central and Pike. And with North Central and Pike migrating sectionals to that sectional 5 in favor of Carmel and Noblesville, we've seen that switch where Carmel and Noblesville travel together to the strong sectional 8. But Fishers will be facing off against HSE in the first round of the sectionals. If they're able to make it past them, they'll have either North Central or Pike. North Central able to turn their season around. It was just a season ago. They had yet to have a win in 2 years. This year they have a winning record. Looks like that's Colin Shelton, injured for Fishers. Son of Coach Shelton on this Tiger coaching staff. He's able to make his way off the field under his own power, but that's the 3rd injury. We've really seen 3rd injury scare from Fishers tonight.
And all 3 really key players for these Fishers Tigers. Shelton, a great threat in the secondary for this Fishers defense. The Tigers will hope that he is able to make a recovery within the next week.
He has
tonight.
He has an interception in the game off of a great read. Saw the ball getting tipped, was able to get in front of it, so he'll be a tough guy to miss. To not have, as Pettijohn able to break some tackles. He's across the 40. Good pass from Nance as he's able to find his favorite receiver, Caleb Pettijohn.
Pettijohn made his way downfield as the Shamrocks are now in Tiger territory, which is where they needed to get quickly, and they sure have gotten there quickly.
And their offense is firing on all cylinders as he finds Papio across the 30 all the way down to around the 22-yard line. So this offense really just pushing it now. They're down by 3 scores, but now they've just taken off a couple of seconds on this drive. They're doing a good job of sticking to the game plan in this 4-minute offense, pushing the ball about as fast as they can.
And if this Westfield offense keeps up this fast pace, the Fishers defense is not going to be able to let their guard down. It is a 3-score game, but Westfield looks to be moving the ball very quickly and very successfully, as this is probably the quickest drive from them we've seen the entire game.
Oftentimes you see situations like this, you see a team pushing down the field and you wonder, where was this all game? Well, oftentimes you'll see the secondary getting a little more lax as Beam was only able to use one hand on that one. That's going to be a pass interference. It could have been a touchdown. Great looking throw from Nance, but that's going to be a pass interference against the Tigers. But as I was saying, with defenses, you'll see them pushing back into more of a max protect, sort of preventing big-time plays. So you'll see a lot of those quick yardage gains down the middle, and that's why you're going to see some quicker pushes at the end of games from teams down by 3 scores. So this is going to push this Westfield team up a number of yards after that pass interference was called against Fishers. It's going to push them all the way down to the 11-yard line. Now deep within the red zone, this is a 1st and 10. They have the opportunity for another first down, but really it's a 1st and goal situation. Nance is going to see if he can get a passing touchdown here tonight. He has one running off of a read option, but he's going to go down off of a beautiful fade route. Nice thrown pass over to Caleb Pettijohn. Pettijohn makes the grab. Now it's going to be another touchdown on the year from Caleb Pettijohn, the senior. And what a beautiful pass it was. Let's take another look at this one as Cam Nance had a lot of time in that backfield. Good blocking, and he was able to just make the beautiful pass downfield to Pettijohn. Made the grab. And with it, it's a 2-score game now. 27-16, going to see if Bales can come on, make it 27. 17. That's what he's going to do. So expect the offsides kick, as Westfield not losing hope in this one. They're only down by a touchdown and a field goal. So realistically, if they're able to get a touchdown, force the turnover on the onside kick, they could be looking at a pretty good position going forward. 2:23 is a lot of time, especially when your offense is moving like that.
Recovering 2 onside kicks in a row would be a very slim chance, but in the event that this does happen, Westfield's offense, like you said, is firing on all cylinders right now, so this Fishers defense is going to have to be very careful not to let anything slip through the cracks if Westfield gets the ball back here.
We'll see the hands unit out there for Fishers as they're going to minimize this. They had one onside kick go against them a couple of weeks ago. That one ended up getting picked up by the defense, so they need to be more careful on this one. You know, their lead isn't too big to where it could be indestructible. Fishers needs to be careful going forward. Got to play conservative. Got to play like they're just a score down. That's really got to be the mentality for them. Don't want to take the foot off the gas pedal too early, because we're going to see Alex Bales on the onside. Beautiful looking onside kick. Bounces over the head of a couple of Tigers. That's going to end up out of bounds. That was a fantastic kick from Alex Bales. Mercifully for Fishers, ends up out of bounds, but if it could have taken that bounce and held in the air for just a second longer, would have been picked up by a Shamrock player. So Fishers will get it here, 1st and 10 from the 43. Westfield used all of their timeouts on that last drive. So if Fishers so chooses, they can just run the clock out, running the ball upfield. They're going to need a first down to do it, but with the way their offense has been working, I think we could be looking at the end of the game. They're going to switch straight to a chew clock offense. Wolf under center. He's going to hand it off to Scally. Scally with good blocking on the outside edge. He gets rocked at around the 50-yard line. Nice tackle from Matthew Noyes and Jake Miner, the 2 linebackers getting in there, bringing him down after he picked up 7. That's going to be Scally's longest rush of the game. So Fisher's now going to let the clock run for as long as possible. We're nearing 1:45, about 10 seconds left on the play clock. But really not a lot to talk over in the huddle. They know what they're going to do. Westfield knows what they're going to do. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Scally with room to run on the counter, bounces his way through. And a beautiful run for Dylan Scally. That's a career long in varsity games, as he's able to pick up 24-25.
Scally, the sophomore, having a couple of great runs, especially on this last drive here after coming in for H.L. Lewis. Let's take a look at that run again.
And you see the counter just working to perfection as Dunnick came in, really faking out this defense, and then the hole opening up around the middle of the field, and Scally just off to the races, bouncing off his defender. And a great rush for Dylan Scally. 1st and 10 from the 33. Clock is near a minute now, as that's really going to help the Fishers cause out, as they're going to just knee it. Let the clock run out. They'll have to knee it twice, but a great win for this Fishers Tigers team, and an overall win for both the defense and the offense. We saw their passing offense take some great leaps, some great bounds that we hadn't yet seen. They took some good risks, found Colin Stotts for a long pass down the middle, and then were able to complete on a lot of those opportunities set up by a couple of touchdowns set up by a great catch from Will Cyrus, a great catch from Colin Stotts, and their offense just working wonders. But you can't talk about this game without talking about their defense, forcing 4 fumbles, Ross. Just a fantastic effort all the way through from the Tigers.
We talked at halftime about the adjustments that Fishers would have to make after a slower first half, going into the locker room down 7-6, and they really came out into the second half, and they really did everything that we mentioned, and ended up stifling Westfield in the second half.
Fishers was able to get 21 points in this second half. Westfield only able to get 10. Final score 27-17, but really just a great effort all around from both teams. Tigers defense just proving to be too much for this offense. And let's take a look at our play of the game from Fishers. This is going to be the catch from Colin Stotts. Absolutely superhuman as he just reached out in the air, made the grab, but an even better pass from Matt Wolf setting it up, rolling out into the middle, and just look at the full body extension from Colin Stotts as he made that catch. Unbelievable grab. That's going to be our play of the game tonight. A couple of big takeaways for Fishers. You got Colin Stotts working. He's finally hitting his groove. You know, he had a couple of great breakout games here and there, but now he's seeming to be able to become a consistent wide receiver. Last year he had some bright spots throughout, but this year he's really hitting his stride going into his junior year. And this really spells good for Fishers going forward. They got John Vore, only a junior. They got Colin Stotts, only a junior, and H.L. Lewis, only a junior on offense. And on defense, you're looking at Roman Molden, Emmanuel Davis, and Cam Field, three of the biggest performers in this game tonight.
Alongside sophomores, Colin Shelton, and on offense, Dylan Scally. So really this Tiger team, we're talking about a very, very bright future ahead in years to come. But for now, they will focus on next week's game at home against Zionsville, and then after that, the sectional against HSE.
If you're Westfield, you have nothing to hang your head about in this game. Senior night, you end up coming away with a loss, but really just falling victim to a couple of mistakes here and there. If you could take them back, really could be a different game all the way throughout. It was really one of those games where it came down to a couple of plays that really shifted the entire momentum. We're talking about the fumbles caused by Fishers and some of those plays downfield that really stifled the momentum that Westfield had going forward. But if you're Westfield, a lot to take away from this game. You're going to take a look in the mirror, understand what you need to work on. That offensive line started off strong, but as you said, the stamina, the energy really slowed down. There were 5 sacks and just 2 drives for the Fishers defense. They were able to get into the backfield, and that was as many sacks as they came into this game with. So 5 total sacks in just 2 drives, and now they're up to 10 on the year. But this Fishers defense showing they can really hang with the big guys. Going forward, that's got to add a lot of confidence. That's been one of the big questions going into this game. They were able to silence all the doubters, put out a great performance. But for Westfield, a couple takeaways. Got to keep up the offensive line. Great job from Simons, though, coming in, the sophomore quarterback.
You talked about stamina, and we've mentioned that so many times tonight. That was one of the key themes of this game, I think, between the running back and safety, Hauser. We talked about at halftime. One of the keys for Westfield in the second half would be him coming in and not losing that stamina and having as big of a second half as he did a first half. And he was very quiet in both the third and fourth quarters, and I think that contributed to Westfield's offensive slowness in the second half. But the Fishers Tigers showing absolutely no sign of slowing down any time in the third or fourth quarters. Their stamina was not depleted at all, and I think that is a good sign going forward into these next 2 weeks. I think that the Fishers Tigers can head into the game with Zionsville and the sectional with a lot of hope. This gives them a lot of momentum. Football is a game of momentum. In a matter of one game, Fishers took the momentum in this game and went forward in the second half and did not look back, and I think that's what they will continue to do in these next couple of weeks.
With a game to go, both teams have a lot to work on going forward. Tigers, as you said, have a home game against Zionsville, and with Westfield, they'll be making the trip over to Rebuff for the final game of the regular season. For both teams, a lot to think about, a lot to take into going forward, but I think a real positive impact from Fishers from this game. They really learned that their defense can make the big-time plays. They learned that they can hang with the big guys, and the passing offense was just electric for Fishers. Matt Wolf doing a good job of going out there and just making the big-time throws. So the final score in this one, 27-17. Fishers Tigers able to make the win. We thank you so much for spending your evening with us. Ross and Joey here from the Fishers Sports Network, and we want to thank Hamilton County TV for allowing us to take over this broadcast. Remember to tune in tomorrow for the sectional games for boys and girls soccer starting at 2 o'clock coverage there for the boys sectional championship. That'll be HSE versus Muncie Central, and then they'll be keeping you company for the entire day. And we remind you to watch the Fisher Sports Network going forward. We really appreciate you guys spending your evening with us. And, of course, the Hamilton County TV, thank you so much for allowing us to come in and on broadcast this game. For everyone for Hamilton County TV, I'm Joey Cerrone.
Ross DeLong.
Signing off.